It's time for Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. For the next 3 hours, it's high school basketball from across the Mountain State. Live from Marshall University, here's your host, Ryan Epling.
And a very pleasant good evening to you, Joe Linville, Bill Cornwell, and we are still looking for Ryan Epling. Now, actually, he'll be joining us here in just a few minutes. He had to do his normal PA duties down at Wayne, and that game is over, and he's on his way to the studio. So, Bill, good to see you. It's been, 9 months?
It's been a while. The second week in March, obviously, was when we had the state tournament going on down in Charleston, and crowned for 3 champions down there, and we're ready to get it going again, starting this weekend.
Yeah, it's flew by. I mean, it seemed like blinked, and we were through football season and ready to start our winter season of basketball, boys and girls basketball, from across the state of West Virginia.
It's going to be an interesting year because there are really some new faces that we're going to see and that we're going to profile this year. Maybe some schools that we haven't heard from. Now, some of the usuals certainly are going to be around both in the boys and the girls side, but there's going to be some challengers this year. You just kind of get a feeling. As we were watching teams last year and profiling them, you would talk about teams, and they're not quite there yet, but they're getting there. Right. And it's going to be interesting to see if maybe some of the usual big daddies get knocked off this year.
Exactly. And of course, I followed, basketball, especially down through the coal fields, pretty close. And, some of those teams are, reloaded from the seniors that they lost from last season. And then some of them's going to struggle this season. Yeah. So, it takes a few games to see what's really going to happen. So, we're really into, the girls have finished up a week and the boys are just getting started this week. So, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and, we'll just have to wait and see how it irons out throughout the season.
Western part of the state, it really it's a crapshoot right now. Kind of looking at the Mountain State Athletic Conference as far as AAA is concerned. Yeah, there's not really a dominant team. This is kind of for instance, of course, Huntington's always been such a dominant team, and of course they've got a new coach in Chris Gray this year, and they've got a lot of parts that are kind of developing, and we'll see. Capital should be pretty good down in the Kanawha Valley. Coach Rick Green and GW should be, as usual, a force in the MSAC. As far as on the girls' side, it's kind of a crapshoot there right now. And probably maybe the 2 best teams in the western part of the state are in AA and Single A, in Wayne and in St. Joe on the girls' side.
Exactly. And, of course, you've got, down our way, you got Logan, kind of had a disappointed season last year with Coach Zach Green coming on board. Chapmanville's reloaded. They're number 1 in the preseason AA. So,
they had some late additions, we might say.
Exactly.
Yes.
Both of those teams have had late additions.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about transfers. We won't mention any names in particular, but we'll talk a little bit about that later in the show. But you're here for scores, and we want to give them to you. So let's take a look at the basketballfridaynight.com scoreboard. Bill, take a look at the boys' scores.
All right. Starting off with Winfield Generals, talking about teams in the western part of West Virginia, took on Robert C. Byrd tonight. And Robert C. Byrd gets the win over Winfield by a score of 66-53. Cabell Midland, they're now off to a pretty good start. They beat South Point by a score of 71-50. The Knights are now 2-0 on the young season. St. Clairsville, Ohio, took care of the Brook Bruins by a score of 84-32. It was Buchanan Upshur falling to the University Hawks 101-52. Greenbrier West beats Independence by a score of 49-43. Actually, that's an end of third quarter score. Final score, Van loses to Lincoln County 76-37. Good win there for Coach Rodney Plumley's team. It was Oak Hill beating Pikeview by a score of 96-57. Ritchie County loses to Coach Mick Price and Ravenswood 41-38. At halftime, we have a score of St. Albans beating Riverside by a score of 32-22. A final, Polka Dots take care of Valley Fayette 65-41. It was Fairmont Senior. They just did the job on the football field just a week ago. Well, they did the job on the basketball court tonight. They beat Wyoming East 77-58, Joe.
And let's take a look at the girls' scores from across the state. It was the Polka Dots falling to the Lady Maroon Knights of Wheeling Central Catholic by a score of 59-26. Blueville Beavers went on the road to Tazewell, Virginia, and unfortunately they took one in the loss column. That score was 57-49. It was Payton City falling to Magnolia, 59-41. Richwood Lumberjacks went on the road and knocked off the Fayetteville Lady Pirates by a score of 63-60. Another final, man, here's a big one. Moorfield beat East Hardy tonight, 66-13. And a score from the half in the Sam Board Championship tournament going on. The Lady Eagles of Robert C. Byrd lead Clay Battelle at the half by a score of 17-16. So a good one going on there. It was East Fairmont. The Lady Bees knocked off Gilmer County tonight, 41-39. Correction on that. That's actually the end of the third quarter, 41-39. This score from the half, Spring Mill leads Hampshire by a score of 30-17. Nicholas County falls tonight to the Wayne Pioneers. They come down to Wayne County, and the Lady Pioneers knock off Nicholas County, the Lady Grizzlies, 68-47. Ripley, this score at the half, Ripley trails Parkersburg. The Big Reds lead it 41-27. And Trinity Christian knocks off South Harrison Hawks tonight by a score of 65-13. And that's a look at your basketballfridaynight.com scoreboard. Bill, let's talk about some of these teams that, well, actually, we've got a caller, so let's go to the phone lines now, and joining us now is Bill Nestor, the voice of the Robert C. Byrd Eagles. And Bill, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, good deal. I'll tell you what, the Eagles had a pretty good football season, and it looks like they're off to a good start on the hardwood.
So far, so good. Yeah, Robert C. Byrd had a very tough challenge between Winfield in the Polar Bear Classic in Fairmont. And pretty close game, 4-point spread there at the halftime break. As a matter of fact, the Generals went inside of their big man, Nate Vance. He had 11 points in the first half. But in the second half, Robert C. Byrd did a much better job controlling the big man. He only scored 2 points in the second half, and RCB bumped out to a lead and extended it and had three guys in double figures en route to the win.
What kind of team does this RCB Eagle team, what have they got this year? Do you have any idea what, I know we're early in the season, but, we always kind of like to get a little preview.
Well, you're looking at a team that returns 5 players that had significant minutes from a year ago. They've got 10 guys on the roster. Coach is going to use all 10 of those guys. They play an up-tempo, aggressive, man-to-man defense, full-court type of game. And they're fairly small but athletic. 6'1" is the tallest player on the roster, so they're going to rely a lot on the perimeter game and trying to get some of these returning guards back in the mix. So I think that's what's going to happen this year. A lot of these guys were very important for Robert C. Byrd last year, so they didn't know what to expect. So they're going to come in and hopefully be able to pick it up here early on. 3 guys really made a difference tonight. Corey Miles, 19, to lead Robert C. Byrd. Gavin Kennedy, 17, and Bryson Lucas, 10. All 3 of those guys were returning players from last year. They look to play a big part this year.
With Bridgeport and with Fairmont Senior up in your part of the state, Bill, is it still pretty much Fairmont Senior and everybody else? Do you think it's going to be kind of a balanced situation this year?
Well, it does look like Fairmont Senior's got the leg up once again. I had a chance to watch the first half of their game with Wyoming East. They're still loaded with Dobbs and also Bridges, 2 D1 prospects. But they're not as deep as what they have been in the past. So Coach Rhett is going to have to find a way to get some depth to be able to carry that team. But their first 5 as good as anybody in the state, I do believe. But they're not quite as deep as what we have seen in the past. And they were locked up in a close one there at the halftime break. I think in the second half, the Polar Bears pulled away from Wyoming East. But they look to be the cream of the crop and the team that everybody wants to catch here in North Central West Virginia.
Bill, looking over the schedule, Robert C. Byrd travels south a couple times before they start playing some of those central and northern regional schools up in your area.
Oh, you're right. There's an opportunity for RCB to get on the road early, get some tests in. Matter of fact, they've got 5 games coming up here in December. The schedule front loaded to try to, number one, get an idea to see where these guys are at measuring stick-wise, and secondly, because we have so many issues with cancellations, with weather, being able to get a bunch of games in December, hopefully we'll get them an opportunity to not lose any games this year. But, yeah, looking forward here coming up on the 29th, a big game at Oak Hill. That'll be a tough one, but also an opportunity to get on the road. Definitely like testing your team early, especially on the road, to see what they're made of.
Good deal. And, Robert C. Byrd Eagles have, kind of been on the borderline there for a while. They've had some good teams and then got, knocked off earlier, like in the regionals. But what's their aspirations for this season? You have any idea?
Well, I think right now they're looking for good things, especially in the tournament. And the key is going to be some of the guys that they've got out this year that were standout football players. Inside, Javon Davison, who is the school's all-time leading rusher now, is a big coming off the bench, 6'1", 210-pounder. He's going to be a physical presence inside. Tommy Hawkins, a linebacker on the football team, his first year of varsity basketball. So those guys are going to have to bring some physicality to this team that's guard-oriented, guard-heavy. If they can get those guys to produce inside, I think RCB would look to try to get back in the state tournament. So if you can get some of these new guys to step up and make some plays, coupled with the 5 returners, RCB could have an opportunity to get back to Charleston.
All right, Bill Nestor, thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
As always, it's my pleasure, guys. Have a great rest of the show and a great weekend as well.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Bill Nestor from WPDX Radio in Clarksburg, and he's the voice of the Robert C. Byrd boys. I can't have trouble getting Bird out there. But anyway, always a pleasure to talk to him. And Bill, let's go back to something we kind of talked about a little bit in the opening, and that is transferring schools to play sports. Your thoughts on, and where does it stop? Where do you draw the line?
There's a little bit, seems like just a little bit too much fluidity, you might say. There have been pretty good rules in the past as far as having to sit out semester, having to have maybe a good, I would call it a competitive fairness, because, if you're going from team to team and you're talking about rivals, and you're going from team to team close by, that's they used to call it in the past school shopping.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit shaky to me. I mean, and it really causes a lot of upheaval when you were depending on kids as a coach. This kid's going to be here, and then all of a sudden, poof, they're gone.
Yeah. Like in the final hour to boot, you take, I know one kid from down southern West Virginia. He played his freshman year at one school, transferred to another school, and then went across the border into another state and played. Mm-hmm. Then he transferred back to the school he transferred to begin with. He played ball at like 5 different high schools before it was over with. And he was a mediocre player. It wasn't a super standout or anything, but it was just the idea. I don't know if he was chasing a ring or what the deal was.
Yeah.
And sometimes the kids will do that.
And that's surprising, really, Joe, because you think about it, that sounds like something that some of your high school All-American kids do. I mean, because you look at some of those kids that get big-time D1 offers. Mm-hmm. They played in 2 or 3 schools over the years, and it's all because coaching. It's all because of competition. Well, same thing is happening on a lower level, and it just seems to be way too easy to do, and it may be about time for the SSAC to kind of step in there and make things just a little bit more difficult and not just have this just easy flow in too short of a time.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like they do a good job policing it, but then there's other times that it just like, I don't know if they turn a blind eye. I don't know if it's, because of maybe who the person is or their connections or whatever, but I think you need to draw a line and stick to it. And
it's going to take a little bit of protest from coaches. It's going to take a little protest from principals and ADs to go to the SSAC and say, hey, enough is enough. Let's do something about this. And, we'll just always say that the squeaky wheel gets the greasing, and, we'll just see if enough people get a little up in arms about this and see if something is done, something changes. And some of these kids will legitimately move into another school district, but there's a lot of times they do not live in the school district and transfer. And I think that's where that gray area comes into play, and, that the SSAC really needs to put up some stringent guidelines. There are legit moves. I mean, if it's a job situation, a career situation, you have to move. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if you're just going just because Team A is a lot better than Team B, where I was at Team B and I don't want to be there anymore, that's a little shaky.
Or I might get a lot more coverage, or colleges may look at me a little closer.
Colleges may look at me a little bit more. I may get more of an opportunity at a scholarship. Yeah,
exactly. And we could sit here and argue all night long and still not come up with the right answer.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't agree with it. It happens every day, and hopefully the SSOC can get a grip on it. Well, it's time for our first break here on Basketball Friday Night, so we'll take our first break. We'll be back with more of Basketball Friday Night here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
High school basketball action in West Virginia is heating up as teams focus on a trip to the state championship in Charleston. Stay up to date with your local team and its progress all season long with Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia for 3 hours every Friday night from 9 to midnight. Listen online or on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State. You'll hear sports writers, broadcasters, coaches, players, and your calls recapping your team's game. Visit basketballnight.com for more details on how you can become part of the show. Follow us on Twitter at @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Thanks to everyone tonight that calls in, sends text, tweets, and emails. We appreciate you being part of the show and helping us cover all basketball throughout West Virginia. Join us on the phone tonight. Share your team's game. Call us toll free. 1-855-784-6677. 855-784-6677. Follow us on Twitter at @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Text the show 304-249-4924. Text the show 304-249-4924. Go to our website, check out the scoreboard, and find out how you can connect with the show tonight at basketballnight.com. Speaking of folks connecting tonight, a shout out to those on Twitter just following us, including Isaac Dingus, Shane Hiley, the Morris family, Trey, Jeff Mollahan, the Hatfield McCoy Shootout, Jace, John Blankenship, Stephanie Ellis, William Phillips. They're all part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family.
Celebrating high school basketball around the Mountain State. You're listening to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
Joe Linville and Bill Cornwell in studio. Ryan Epling will be joining us very shortly. And I tell you what, Bill, the phone lines are already starting to stack up, so let's get right back to the phone lines. And good evening. Welcome to Basketball Friday Night.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. And we are speaking with Sean Huffman. And Sean, what game you calling about?
Well, just calling about the Nicholas County High School boys and girls basketball. I do the play-by-play on Nick 92.9 for both boys and girls Grizzlies. And just calling about the Princeton game last night down at Princeton with the Grizzlies.
All right. And guys, our new affiliates to Basketball Friday Night, welcome aboard. And give us a little bit of update on those games real quick.
So the Grizzlies got defeated last night 62-50 down at Princeton. Princeton's got a pretty good basketball team. Grizzlies, it was their opening night, and Princeton had come in on their second game of the season. And Luke LaRose finished tonight with 32 points, and Tanner Huffman had 8. And Grizzlies are up next against Braxton County, which is kind of a rival now, up at the International Oil and Gas Association tournament at Glenville next Wednesday. And the girls basketball team just got beat down at Wayne County, so a long trip to drive down there. And they also play in the Independent Oil and Gas Association tournament next week.
Sean, the Grizzlies had an outstanding football season. What kind of basketball season can we expect from them on the boys and girls side this season?
Well, girls are coming off a 20-5 record from last year, returning 4 starters from last season, only lost 1 senior. They've got quite a few injuries right now. They're down to about 10 players, but they started off kind of rough, got beat by a great Wyoming team to start the season, and then beat Midland Trail the other night. I look for them to, still have a stellar season. Of course, girls do have, they played 7 of the 8 girls teams that were in the state tournament last year for AA. So, just get out of their section and look good for the region, and hopefully make a trip to Charleston on the boys' side. Boys are going to be fine. I mean, started off a little sluggish last night. I think they look good to come out of their section, and the region seems to be down, and this could be the first time since the 1950s that the Grizzlies make it to the state tournament.
Sean, it looks like looking at the schedule for the Nicholas County boys team, they seem to be taking on all comers because got a schedule. You got AAA teams, you got good single A teams, and of course the really a cream of the crop as far as some of the AA teams in the state.
Well, and the Grizzlies just did drop the Richwood Lumberjacks from the schedule last week, and picked up for February 13th, defending AAA state champs George Washington Patriots on February 13th at DW. So, yeah, taking on all comers, again, facing Princeton last night, going to travel down to the Tug Valley team. Of course, Oak Hill, a pretty good basketball program going on again this year, and could hopefully face Bridgeport next week. And of course, Braxton County made it to the state tournament last year, so it's definitely, like you said, taking on all comers right now.
All right, Sean, thanks for the report, and we look forward to talking with you throughout the season. Sean Huffman, the radio voice of the Nicholas County Grizzlies.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you tuning in to Nick 92.9.
There you go, and you heard it directly from the source there. One of our new affiliates this season here on Basketball Friday night.
Way to stick that promo in.
Yeah, exactly. You always got to.
He's a radio guy. There you go. Yeah.
All right, let's go right back to the phone lines, and joining us now is the head coach of the Scott Skyhawks, Coach Steve McComas, and the Skyhawks opened up Tuesday night on the road at Lincoln County and come away successful, and they don't open their home opener until tomorrow night against cross county rival the Sherman Tide. So, Coach McComas, welcome to Basketball Friday night.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Glad to be a part of it.
Coach, your team.
You guys do a lot of good things.
We appreciate that. And Coach, last year you played a varsity squad with no seniors, so you have all your players returning for the season. What can we look forward out of the Skyhawks this year?
Well, we're going to try to get up and down the floor a little faster than we have in the past. Got a little bit more depth, and do a little bit more trapping and pressing than we've done in the past, and see how that works for us.
I know they had a freshman game last night, and I stayed around a little bit and watched the varsity practice. And I tell you what, I can see how those guys get up and down the floor a little faster because some of the drills you guys were running.
Yeah, they've been working hard. I'm proud of the effort they've been giving out. That's some good leadership back. We do have some seniors this year. We've got 3 seniors, and they're working hard. They're doing a lot of good things.
Coach, you jump right into Cardinal Conference play next week. You got Mingo Central coming to Madison, and what's the Cardinal Conference outlook this year? I mean, everybody's probably looking at Chapmanville for sure, but should be an interesting league race this year.
It should be interesting. You're exactly right. I mean, it's always tough, but I think this year it's maybe even deeper. Like you mentioned, Chapmanville, Logan. You got Poca, Winfield. You everywhere you look, if you're not prepared to play, you're going to get beat.
Yeah,
there's no easy games.
How can you gauge your team after that one game with Lincoln County? I mean, Lincoln County kind of plays a little bit maybe different style. They're more of I call them like a scrappy ball team, and then you face, of course, Sherman tomorrow night, Mingo Central, and then, go on the road to Logan. So your feelings on the team?
You're right. County, they feet in your face, and you either turn the ball over or you score. And they get you out of your rhythm, and they do a good job of it. They do a good job trapping and running around something that's kind of unorthodox, but they do a good job of it. But so it's hard to judge. You're right. We're looking forward to playing Sherman tomorrow and seeing what we've got, and Mingo on Tuesday, and just one game at a time is what I've been telling the boys, one game at a time.
Yeah, you get a little bit of experience, I guess, under your belt before you go to Logan and back to back with Chapmanville. So, as Bill mentioned, that Cardinal Conference is going to be tough, and that may be 2 of the 3 toughest teams in the conference this year.
Yeah, I think they will be. On paper, they are for sure. And like I said, you got to throw Nitro, Winfield, Polka, all in not far behind them. They've all got returners, and when you go on the road with any of these teams, you got to expect a dogfight.
You guys are involved in a couple of tournaments this year in the Summersville tournament at the end of this month, and then very popular Hatfield and McCoy shootout next month. Talk about what that tournament's atmosphere does for your ball club.
Yeah, it's always enjoyable to go to Williamson and play down there in that field house. History there. It's enjoyable to take a team down there and try to let them see what happened there with history, and they got all the documents and on the wall and so forth. So it's cool to go down there. You usually play teams out of Kentucky play good basketball. They like to get up and down the floor. It's a good atmosphere. It's always good to go and play in a place like that where you're going to have a big crowd.
A lot of history there.
It's fun.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fun for the kids to play in different arenas. We're looking forward to going to Summersville this year and playing up there in that arena. I mean, we've not played there, and it's looking at pictures of it. I've not even been in that facility. Looking at it, looks like a really nice facility. So they're excited about going up there and playing up in that tournament this year.
Yeah, and the atmosphere of tournaments, do you feel like it maybe helps your team prepare a little bit once you start sectional play and then if you're fortunate enough to move on regional and hopefully you'll make it all the way into Charleston?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it helps you playing in front of different arenas, different atmospheres. Seeing different parts of the state that different type of referees. I mean, I think that just builds your program, build your kids see what they have to look forward to.
All right, talking to Coach Steve McComas, the head coach of the Scott Skyhawks. And, Coach, thanks for joining us on the show tonight. And, of course, 1-0 that win over Lincoln County, and then they open up in Madison tomorrow night against the Sherman Tide. Good luck.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll have him back on the show sometime later in the season. Bill, I tell you what, tournament play actually, has that tournament-type atmosphere, for later in the season. I think that's a great idea. These schools schedule these kind of tournaments. And
it's great that they go out of their area, too. It's not, nothing wrong with playing in your region or in your area, but say a team from maybe the north central part of the state comes down to the coal fields to play or down in the Kanawha Valley to play. It's like Coach McComas said, I mean, you're playing with different officials, the guys you don't see, guys you're not used to. You're playing different competition, different talent levels, and those things open up things for you, and you grow. It's an education for these young men, and it really teaches them how to adapt, especially in unfamiliar locations, unfamiliar situations.
Yeah, I was talking to football coach at Mann High School, Harvey Arms, and Mann went all the way to Kaiser. I mean, you can't get much farther than that. And I said, Coach, why do you do that? He said, well, number one, we wanted to play some stout competition. But number two, some of our kids have never been up in that part of the state, and it was an opportunity for them to see other areas and not just, their local and regional area.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's something that is very rare, but it has been done. I know a couple of years ago, Wayne actually had a home and home with Kaiser because those were two and are still two of the top football AA powers in the state, right. and that is interesting. But it is educational. I mean, especially if you go to a place like Kaiser, if you're really history oriented, go up there early and hit some of the Civil War sites up in Maryland, which are nearby.
Exactly, just up the road.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have to take a break. It'll be break number 2 here on Basketball Friday Night. In queue, we got Dylan Goday of the Buccaneer Sports Network and our old buddy Dave Morrison. So stick around. More Basketball Friday Night to come here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. How about a chance to graduate from college not only with a diploma, but also prepare to thrive in an exciting, growing field? The Marshall University Sports Journalism program might just be for you. The expansion of cable networks, the rise of sports-centered online platforms, and the continued thirst for local sports coverage makes sports journalism a growth industry with jobs waiting for those who earn this degree. Your passion, curiosity, and charisma, coupled with Marshall University Sports Journalism training, will equip you for success in a multi-billion-dollar industry. So bring your abilities and the desire to be the eyes, ears, and life of the game to our Huntington campus to learn the art of sports storytelling while covering the Thundering Herd. We'll teach you how to go beyond the scores and statistics to tell compelling stories and accurately report breaking news across multiple media platforms. Learn more about the exciting possibilities by visiting marshall.edu/SOJMC. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being part of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia, and we want you to become part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family. Follow us on Twitter. We'll make sure to mention your name tonight. @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Tweet us your team score. Give us your comments on the game. @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Big shout out to some of the folks following us tonight, including Luke Skywalker, Lauren Roush, Andrew G., Gretchen Ball, and Corn Snake. They are all part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family.
Stay up to date on your favorite teams. Check out basketballnight.com. Now, back to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia with Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
And welcome back. In 30 minutes down, 2.5 to go here on the Fast Break Sports Network with Basketball Friday Night. And Mr. Epling's helicopter has landed. He'll be joining us here on set momentarily. Joe Linville and Bill Cornwell. And we know you guys are here for scores, so let's take a look at the basketballnight.com scoreboard. Bill, go ahead and let's do the boys again.
Well, we are adding scores as we speak. Let's go to that boys scoreboard. First off, at halftime, the Spartans of Greenbrier East beating Grundy, Virginia by a score of 33-27. Robert C. Byrd beat Winfield tonight by a score of 66-53. Cabell Midland Knights now 2-0 on the year. They beat South Point, Ohio, 71-50. Into 3, St. Clairsville, Ohio, all over the Brook Bruins, 84-32. A final, Buckhannon and Upshur loses to the University Skyhawks, 101-52. We'll be talking to Dylan Gadet just a little bit from Buckhannon Upshur. He'll give us some information about that contest. Close one tonight between Greater Beckley Christian and Tug Valley, and the Panthers get the win, 56-55. Greenbrier West takes care of Independence, 66-60. Van falls to Lincoln County, 76-37. The Panthers now 1-1 on the season. Pikeview loses to Oak Hill, 96-57. The Parkersburg Big Reds lose their season opener to Warren Local of Ohio, 50-44. Ritchie County losing to Ravenswood tonight, 41-38. A close one there. It was actually, this is a halftime score. Riverside and St. Albans. A little early action in the MSAC. St. Albans leading Riverside 55-46. Shady Spring tonight beat Summers County by a score of 69-59. Polka final over Valley Fayette, 65-41. Evan McNeely had 24 points for the Dots. Webster County beats Calhoun County 92-34. It was Wyoming East losing to Fairmont Senior. Polar Bears look strong again by a score of 77-58. Joe?
On the girls' side, it was Wheeling Central knocking off the Lady Dots tonight, 59-26. Tazewell, Virginia knocks off the Bluefield Beavers, 57-49. It was Magnolia, the Lady Blue Eagles, knock off Peyton City tonight by a score of 59-41. And a final, Richwood Lumberjacks knocked off the Lady Pirates of Fayetteville 63-60. Another final, Moorfield knocked off the Lady Cougars of East Hardy by a score of 66-13. This score now at the half in the Sam Board Championship game. The Robert C. Byrd Lady Eagles trail Clay Battelle by a score of 44-35. And again, that game is at the half. East Fairmont, the Bees, at the end of 3, lead Gilmer County by a score of 41-39. At the half, Spring Mills, the Lady Cardinals, lead Hampshire by a score of 30-17. And a final, it was the Lady Grizzlies of Nicholas County falling to the Wayne Pioneers tonight by a score of 68-47. Parkersburg, the Big Reds lead the Ripley Vikings at the half by a score of 41-27. And a final, it's the Lady Knights of Preston knocking off the Lady Patriots of Washington High School by a score of 50-37. And it's the Trinity Christian Warriors knocking off the Lady Hawks of South Harrison by a score of 65-13. And that's a look at your basketballnight.com scoreboard. And Bill, let's go right back to the scoreboard, and we've had him in the holding pattern for a few minutes. Dylan Godet, the voice of the Buccaneers Sports Network, covering Buchanan Upshur boys and girls high school basketball. And Dylan, welcome to another season of Basketball Friday Night.
Thank you for having me on again. This is the third season calling in for the Buccaneers Sports Network. Third season that the Buccaneers Sports Network has been in existence as well. So definitely cool. Both are kind of pairing up. So
give us a little recap on what's going on with the Buchanan Upshur teams.
The boys basketball team 1-1 so far in the season. You mentioned the score tonight, falling in a tough one there to University. But second-year coach Travis Foster bringing a young team this year. Young, but they have a lot of size there with 3 sophomores, well over 6 foot tall, that can provide a lot of size for them. And they were able to defeat rival Lewis County to open up their season on Wednesday. So 1-1 to start the season. But for the girls basketball team, a lot of questions coming into the season. Again, 4 straight trips to Charleston for the girls basketball team. With Hannah McClung, Lauren Bennett, 2 names known throughout the state for girls basketball last season. They're both playing basketball at the next level. It's definitely been an adjusting period for them this season, but they're 2-1 so far to start their season.
Yeah, that's some big shoes to fill in that ladies team.
Yes, it is. McClung and Bennett both playing basketball at the next level as well. Hannah McClung playing at Lenore-Rhine in North Carolina. She's playing significant minutes for them. Just saw she had 17 points not too long ago, and they just upset a top 20 team in the country. And for Lauren Bennett, she's playing at a top 20 team in the country in Division II basketball as well at California University of Pennsylvania. So definitely cool for them. And the starting group last year for the girls is a very athletic group as well. The 5 starters, all 5 of them have had offers to play college sports at the next level. So that just shows the athleticism. But the group returning for the girls, 2 names that you can get used to this year for the girls basketball team as they try to make it 5 straight trips to Charleston. Allie Robinson and Audrey Godet, both of those 2 players, lots of experience, have been playing significant minutes all of their time at Buchanan Upshur High School. They're both averaging close to 15 points to start this young season. So those are 2 names for Buchanan Upshur that can kind of try to fill the void from McClung and Bennett.
I heard a name that kind of sounded familiar. Any relation?
Yes, Audrey Godet, that's my sister. McKinley Godet was on the team last year as well. So this is the last sister that'll be playing for them. Audrey, actually, crazy story about her. This past summer, she had pacemaker surgery. So she's been playing with a pacemaker this year. She's in the hospital at WVU getting that done, and some WVU basketball players came down to visit her, so that's kind of inspired her here for this season. and she's looking forward to it, playing very well since that pacemaker, and it hasn't slowed her down one bit.
Dylan, next week, good challenge for the Buchanan Upshur girls. Looks like a full weekend of play over to the Waco Center at Glenville State, including a game with Parkersburg coming up next Thursday night.
Yeah, that's going to be a big-time rematch of the state championship game last year. That was definitely a super competitive game between those two schools. Kind of different sides of the coin for these teams this year, though. Parkersburg, a lot of players returning from that team last year, but Buchanan losing those 3 starters and 4 seniors from last year total. So definitely going to be interesting. This is where we're really going to see where this Buchanan Upshur girls team is at right now. Some young players getting some key minutes, some freshmen getting some significant minutes for this team. So this is where we'll really see where this team lands. And last year, Parkersburg opened up the season suffering a 30-point loss to Buchanan Upshur in this same tournament here in Ioga. See if they ended up beating them in the state championship game. So coin could be flipped here. Could be a tough loss for Buchanan as they're starting to get used to this lineup. But coming into the year, a lot of veterans on this Buchanan team. They could come back and surprise some teams late.
All right, Dylan G'day of the Buccaneer Sports Network. Again, thanks once again for joining us for Season 6 here on Basketball Friday Night. And we look forward to talking to you throughout the season, getting updates from the boys and girls, the Buccaneers.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you again, Buccaneer Sports Network. Definitely appreciate you guys and the whole Buchanan community, especially with that tournament run last year for the girls. The whole community was listening in weekly to the show, so thank you guys.
All right. Thank you guys as well. So, Dylan, good day, and let's keep right on rolling as we go right back into the next line here. Joining us now is fellow broadcaster, journalist, Mr. Dave Morrison. Dave, good to talk to you.
Oh, man, how are you doing?
Hey, we're doing good. You're special. You get a little intro music tonight.
I heard that.
You're as special as Cause. You know, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I had to get in before the Cause Comedy Hour started. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's the deal with the Ryan's helicopter?
It landed. He's here. He's trying to get as the seat adjusted and get logged in.
It's no longer grounded. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Anyway,
is that on loan from the governor?
Do what?
Is that on loan from the governor?
Yeah, I'm sure it probably is. They're pretty tight.
Your tax dollars at work, Dave.
I'm happy to pay that.
Hey, Dave, I do want to ask you something before we get into some of the tonight's games. I noticed on Twitter the other night, James Monroe's McKinley man had 30 rebounds, also had some assists and some block shots. I looked this kid up. He's 6'10". Is that accurate?
Right. Yeah, 6'9", 6'10" would be accurate. He was about 6'8" last year, so I'm sure 6'10" is right. And they're pretty hard on their stats. So, as a matter of fact, the coach told me that the opponent had 31 rebounds.
Yeah,
but they went with the 30 that they had. So those are legit too. So he's a player to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
And they did win again tonight. So.
Yeah, and he had 33 points in that game. 33 points and 33 rebounds and 3 block shots, 3 assists, and a steal. So what cornfield did they find that young man in down in Monroe County?
You can take your pick. Just your typical 30-30 night.
What's going on in your neck of the woods in basketball this season?
Well, should be. I think that every team here in Region 3 is probably on the boys' side. They're all improved. Everybody's playing a little bit better. Independence is off to a 1-1 start. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think they won 3 games last year, so they're off to a pretty good start. I think the teams to watch, they'll be some of the same ones. When you get down to tournament time, you got Oak Hill with the big win over Pikeview tonight. Andrew Workoff to started his season with 20 points, and they had a couple guys with 18. Easy win over Pikeview. Wyoming East will be pretty good. Now, they play Fairmont. Fairmont, of course, we know Fairmont's very good. That's in Section 1. Section 2, it's going to be you're looking at Bluefield again. Now, Shady Spring, I think they have a chance to get the top seed over on that side. They're a very good team. Started the season with a 85-43 victory over Westside. Westside, of course, lost 7 of their top 8. But Shady Spring is very good. They moved to 2-0 tonight, beat Summers County, and Stephen Williams, who had 27 against Westside, had 33 tonight, or 30 rather tonight. So he's off to a good start for Shady Spring. I think that when it gets down to it, everybody's improved, but it's going to be some of the same old when tournament time rolls around.
Dave, you following any of the ladies' teams down in your area as well?
Yeah, I actually got a chance to see Wyoming East in their opener. And I think they're closer to you guys tonight than they are here. They're playing in a Boyd County, Kentucky tournament.
They're not very far from us.
Right. They started about 9. They were up. They were down 14-13 to Boyd at the end of the first quarter. Last update I got on that one. But again, Wyoming East did lose Gabby Lupartis, Kara Sandy, but still very good. Skylar Davidson, who was hurt, she was a freshman last year, point guard, supposed to back up Gabby Lupartis, and she was injured. She made her comeback against Nicholas County, coming back from a torn ACL, had 26 points in their opener. And again, with 6'5", Emily Saunders, who signed with Tennessee just a couple weeks ago, Jazz Blankenship signed with Concord. It's going to be another very good Wyoming East team, one that can compete for a state championship. Saw Westside, too, and they beat very down Liberty team easily in their opener. They're 2-0. They were playing at home against Man tonight. Very good shooting team. One of their leaders, Leslie Bailey, has been out, but Rihanna Canada has stepped up with 11 3-pointers in the first 2 games to help them get off to a 2-0 start, looking to move to 3-0 against Man tonight at home. And those are the 2 teams I've watched. Now, Woodrow Wilson should be very good in AAA girls. They're 2-0 right now. Single A could be. There are several teams. It seems like everybody's about the same when you look at the teams in single A, but clearly in Double A, Wyoming East, Westside should be the 2 teams to beat in Section 1. And Bluefield also very good for over in Section 2.
So even with those seniors moving on, it sounds like Wyoming County still loaded for bear and looking to come back, make a return trip back to Charleston.
Very, very good shooting team is Wyoming East. Westside, too. They play, I think, on the 17th of December. It'll be the first meeting of the 2 Waco rivals. So that'll be interesting to watch that. Both have shooters. But you're right, Wyoming East still loaded, and I know that the seniors this year have stated that they want to come out as they came. They want to go out as they came in, and they came in their freshman years when Wyoming East won their state championship.
All right.
If they can keep everybody healthy, health is a big part of what they're doing there, Wyoming East.
Yeah, and we want you to stay healthy as well. So we need you to keep going to those ball games for us. So.
Well, I will definitely keep going.
It was good to see you down at the state tournament. Anyway, Dave Morrison, broadcaster from, I guess you pretty much cover the kind of the southeastern part of the state of West Virginia. You just take them all in.
Doing some writing from Pine Boy Independent Herald, and I have my own website, Super Day Sports, which is powered by 3 local radio stations, which I greatly appreciate that, and the sponsors of that. So it gives me a real good chance to get some writing in.
Dave, again, we thank you for being a part of the Basketball Friday Night family, and we look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
Oh, yes, we'll definitely do it again.
All right, Dave Morrison, broadcaster and journalist, covering several high schools over in that southeastern part of the state. We need to take a break. It'll be break number 3 here on Basketball Friday Night, here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
If you love basketball, then there's only one place to be on Friday nights after the game. It's Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Jaden Lindsay, East Fairmont Bees, Jacob Clark, Riverside Warriors, Cole Honecker, Shady Springs Tigers, Sidney Nestor, Tucker County Mountain Lions, Isaiah Morgan, Ravenswood Red Devils, Deja Busby, Sherman Tide, Drew Williamson, Chapmanville Tigers, Ashton Maxwell, Buckhannon Upshur Lady Bucks, Casey Hinchman, Spring Valley Timberwolves, Whitney Sampson, Wayne Pioneers, Cole Whited, Philip Barber Colts, Abby Beeman, Frankfurt Falcons, and Kelsey Minto. Cameron Lady Dragons. What they all have in common is they were selected last year by Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia as the Standout Athlete of the Week. Have someone remarkable on your team? Did you have an athlete make an outstanding play? You can nominate your team's players to become the Basketball Friday Night Standout Athlete of the Week. Each week, we consider nominees based on leadership, performance on the court, academic performance, involvement in the community, and volunteer work. Every Friday night, we select a Standout Athlete of the Week. Head over to our website, basketballnight.com, click on the Standout Athlete of the Week tab, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. We want you to nominate your team's athletes. Check it out at basketballnight.com. And we also want you to become part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family. Follow us on Twitter. We'll make sure to mention your name tonight. @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup.
This is high school basketball's home for the Mountain State. Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
Must be your helicopter lifting off out of the parking lot.
Yes, it has dropped me off. I'm glad to be here. Had a nice, smooth flight in from Wayne, the 2.5-minute flight by air. It was nice.
Just over the mountain, right?
That's right.
Maybe next year we can get you a transporter, and you'll be here even faster. Energize.
Hey, what can I say? I'm happy to be here. Happy to be back with Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Happy to have you guys along. Always a pleasure to just be here and talk sports with you guys.
Exactly.
I mean, this is a very fun time of year, and so many ways. I'm not going to reset the entire program just because I've listened to the first 45 minutes and have some things I'll add in here in a moment too. But Bill, one of the great things about high school basketball is the opportunity to just see people that you're familiar with. You see them kind of year after year. Mm-hmm. You get to talk with them. Sometimes you don't get to catch up with them except for during basketball season. That really goes with any sport,
especially when you go on the when you go on the road and you go to maybe a neighboring gym in your county or in a neighboring county, and you see familiar faces, and it could be somebody working in the concession stand or taking a ticket or something, but you see those people every year, and it's like you don't run into them, but you do. You catch up, and you say hi, and it's I guess you could say it's normalcy. It's normal. It's normalcy, and it is a social thing, and that's one thing about high school basketball in this state. There's a lot of close ties, be it in the coaching ranks, be it in the fan ranks, be it in the administrative ranks, and you work at different schools or you follow different schools, and there are close ties. We're not a big state population wise, and there's a lot of close ties and a lot of camaraderie, and that's the beauty of this state.
It really is, and. I was, and I'm going to get Dylan Godet on this next week, but just about a month ago, I was going through Buchanan, and I saw the Sheriff Fred Godet Bridge, and I thought, mine immediately went, I'm going to have to ask Dylan about this.
Yeah.
I don't figure there's that many Godets running
I
around.
wouldn't think so.
And it's right outside of Buchanan on Corridor H. They're on route.
I'm sure he'll have a story.
I'll guarantee it.
On US 40, I should say. I'm looking forward to that. That's my tip-off, Dylan, next week.
Ready.
Learn about this before.
He may already.
He probably already knows, but if he doesn't, ask some questions, find out, because you're going to get asked about it live on the air next week.
I'm glad to see your cat's back.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you had a little fuzz going on there.
Yeah, well, No Shave November is a good opportunity to just kind of let it go and then, get shaved up and try to look nice before the basketball season, and to the people who watch us on television, kind of.
So I take it you've never heard that thing that your cat ran away.
No. I know what you're talking about now,
Okay.
but that one got away from me there for a second. But no, I got you now. But Yeah, it all stemmed from a water outage last March for a week, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just stop shaving for a while.
For a while,
yeah. So why not? But anyway, high school basketball. I've had the opportunity to see a couple of games this year, and it's still early. But the games that I saw Wayne and Point Pleasant in girls basketball, and I saw Wayne in Nicholas County tonight. And hopefully we'll get to talk with Nicholas County coach Todd McGurl later on. They're making the trip back to Summersville tonight, about a 3.5-hour bus excursion,
Right.
Going through Charleston and then up nearly to Sutton on 79.
Hit 19.
As we've talked about that, and he and I talked about that tonight, is Summersville and Wayne, you can either go north or south out of Summersville, either to 79 to the north or to the Turnpike to the south on Route 19. And it's really, you're only going to save about 10 minutes, but it's a little bit smoother to go 79, a little bit less curvy.
Yeah, you get up in the middle part of the state, and there's no really good east-west highways. You either got to go north or south to make that left or right turn. So.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, Corridor H is coming along nicely. Like I said, I made the trip up through there about a month ago to Kaiser, and there's a lot more 4-lane than there used to be between Wayne and Kaiser. And,
what'd you think about those metal trees up at Kaiser?
Oh, goodness. There are – I was amazed because I was up there in 2010, and then to go back this year and just see how many more windmills are up than what there were then. It almost looks almost alien-ish because it's
Really?
like this looks like looks like something happened here and left this behind because this looks foreign to me. But it's still a very nice area up through there, and I enjoyed the trip up there for football.
And my hat's off to Kaiser. Very nice football facility. So.
It is.
Yes. And you were talking about Pioneers, and really impressed me that they started off the season taking on AAA usual power Huntington, and they took care of them by 7.
Yeah.
That kind of shows you, watch out, the Pioneers are back.
And then Huntington beat Parkersburg South the next time out.
Exactly.
AAA preseason number 2, Parkersburg South. Now, we'll talk a little bit about these preseason rankings because I got to be honest with you. The AP and et cetera, I thought they were a little bit further off with their preseason rankings this year than normal. And it's always a rough guess in the preseason. I don't hold that against anyone, but it just seemed like they struggled a little bit more than normal with that. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about, we have a lot of contacts in what we do here with people throughout West Virginia, and we lost a couple of our best contacts over the course of between last season and this season. A couple people passed away that were really good contributors to the history of the sport and all sports really within West Virginia. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Right now, we got to step aside, take a break. When we come back, we will have our top-of-the-hour scoreboard update. We know that's what you're here for. You're here for scores. We'll also get back to the phone lines as the Season 6 debut episode of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia continues. This is Break 4 here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. Special thanks to all of our affiliates tonight. You can listen on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State, including our newest affiliates. We rock West Virginia Louder, 105 KQV, WKQV in Cowan. Also 103.7 Jack FM, WQWV Fisher. The Valley's Watchdog, 1600 AM, WKKX Wheeling, 1370 AM, WVLY in Moundsville. Jackson County's home for Southern Gospel Singing News Radio, 92.5 FM, WTHM LP, Ravenswood, Ripley. Nights Radio, 91.5 FM, WRSG in Middleburn. Talk Radio, WRNR Martinsburg, 740 AM, 106.5 FM. Classic Hits, 106 WHFI Linside, 106.7 FM. 95 The Sports Fox, WBES Charleston, 950 AM. The Voice of the Coalfields, 101.9 FM and 1290 AM, WVOW in Logan. The Ticket, 102.3 FM, WMTD in Hinton, Light Rock 93R, WRRR, St. Mary's 93.9 FM, the greatest oldies of all time, 98.5 FM and 101.5 FM, WQAZ-LP, Edmond Beckley, Tune for You Radio, Yap Radio 101.7 FM, WYAP-LP in Clay, 104.5 FM, WASP-LV Huntington, 101.1 FM, WVWP in Wayne, 90.7 FM, WFGH Fort Gay, and Marshall University's flagship station, WMUL in Huntington.
Welcome back to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. To join tonight's program, call 855-78-HOOPS. That's 855-784-6677. Follow us on Twitter @hoops_roundup for all the scores all the time. And visit basketballnight.com for a comprehensive look at schedules and standings for every team in the state. Stay tuned. Another hour of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia begins right now.
2 of the first episode of season. Yeah, 2 of 3. We're not too far away from being halfway home on our first edition of the season of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling alongside Bill Cornwell and Joe Linville. Happy to have you with us tonight as always. Of course, the coach Rick Marone, Tulsa girls basketball coach, is hosting a tournament tonight and tomorrow, so we hope to hear from him a little bit later on. With the Barbara J. Marone key player shootout, which is always a good event. They've got Cameron down in Glen Hayes tonight, so that's
that's a big trip.
I like that. I love getting to see different teams in different places.
Yeah. Joe and I were talking about that before you arrived. About it was great to see teams from one end of the state head to the other end of the state. It's educational for the kids. It's a good learning experience, and it certainly helps kids adapt to difficult situations because you don't have the comforts of home and you're not playing familiar floors, familiar officials, you name it.
And a lot of times that's good bonding time for teams when they travel long distances like that as well.
I agree completely, but I also now kind of wonder in this digital age if people just get stuck in their phones.
Well, that could
for
be
the
so.
duration of the trip too. I don't know. I mean, that's a. If I were taking one of those trips, I think we'd have like 10 minutes of phone time, and then
and then collect them.
Then just time together, and then here you can have 10 more minutes, and then now speak to the person next to you.
That's a good idea.
You know, I think we're losing this whole face-to-face communication thing in
it's like the family
society.
sitting around the dinner table texting each other.
All I got to say is good luck.
Mom, the food's good. Sin. That's not how it should be.
Exactly.
But we're going to talk in just a moment with the girls basketball coach at Notre Dame, Bob Martino. They're off to a fantastic start, 4-0. We'll talk with him in just a moment. But first, it's time for another check of the basketballnight.com scoreboard. Joe, we'll turn you loose with the boys' scores tonight.
All right, taking a look at the scores from across the state of West Virginia. And this one's a final. Greenbrier East knocks off Grundy, Virginia, 57-53. In the Hedgesville Mixer, it was Jefferson Cougars outlasting Broadfording Academy tonight, 40-37 in a close one. We talked about this one earlier. The Robert C. Byrd Eagles knocked off the Winfield Generals tonight, 66-53. Cabell Midland, the Knights knocked off South Point, Ohio, 71-50. At the end of 3, and a tight one. Well, no, actually, it's kind of a runaway. St. Clairsville, Ohio leads the Brook Bruins by a score of 84-32. That's after 3 quarters of play. University Hawks knocked off Buchanan Upshur tonight, 101-52. Buffalo, the Bisons, over Wahama, 74-55. Charleston Catholic, it was the Irish knocking off Liberty Raleigh tonight by a score of 55-46. Here's a close one, went down to 1 point. Tug Valley beats Greater Beckley Christian 56-55. And another tight one, Greenbrier West Cavaliers over the Independence Patriots 60-66. Big win tonight for the Lincoln County Panthers as they knock off the Van Bulldogs 76-55. 37. It was the Oak Hill Red Devils knocking off Pikeville tonight, 96-57. Warren Local, Ohio, over the Big Reds of Parkersburg tonight by 6, 50-44. Ritchie County, the Rebels fall to Ravenswood tonight by a score of 41-38. Riverside, the Warriors fall to St. Albans tonight by a score of 55-46. Shady Springs, the Tigers, we were talking about them a little earlier, knock off the Bobcats of Summers County 69-59. Polka Dots winners tonight for Coach Alan Osborne, who is back this season after taking a couple years off. The Dots knocked off the Greyhounds of Valley Fayette 65-41. Even Evan McNeely had 24 points for the Dots tonight. Big win for Webster County as they defeat Calhoun County 92-34. Fairmont Senior knocks off Wyoming East Warriors tonight 77-58. That's a look at the boys' scores.
Well, let's check the girls' scores. First off, in the Williamstown tournament, Wheeling Central and Polka Dots did battle tonight, and it was the Maroon Knights beating Polka 59-26. Bluefield winner over Tazewell, Virginia 56-49. Magnolia takes care of Payton City by a score of 59-41. Richwood beat Fayetteville 63-60. It was East Hardy falling to Moorfield, and this score is legit, 66-13 in the Sam Board Championship game, or in the championship tournament, that is. Halftime score, Clay Battelle leading Robert C. Byrd by a score of 44-36. Gilbert County winner tonight over East Fairmont's Bees 56-50. Sober Stover had 26 points and 16 rebounds in that game in a losing effort for East Fairmont. It was Spring Mills Cardinals over Hampshire 71-58. Wayne Pioneers take care of the Nicholas County Grizzlies 68-47. Big Reds of Parkersburg over the Ripley Vikings 71-46. Preston beat Washington 50-37. South Harrison losing to Trinity Christian 65-13.
That's a check of your basketballnight.com scoreboard. Again, if you have scores, you can get it to us at hoops_roundup on Twitter, or you can go to basketballnight.com and we'll tell you about 30 different ways you can get scores to us.
We have 79 games going on tonight.
It's the first full Friday night of basketball in the Mountain State.
Exactly.
Boys and girls both playing tonight. This is the first full week of the boys' season, and the girls' season began kind of last week, but again, this is where you start to really get that full game in. And something that I noticed as Bill was giving the scores, we have a little bit of a tradition that continues here tonight. Moorfield and East Hardy playing basketball on a Friday night. Boys, girls, it happens. I mean, legitimately, it should happen maybe 4 times a year, and you want that game on a Friday because it's a big money game. Right. It's a county rivalry game.
Absolutely.
But it just seems like every Friday night we have a Moorfield East Hardy game between either the boys or girls. It's great. I love it, and a big win tonight for Moorfield in that matchup.
That's right. That's like last one at home in Hardy County turned the lights out because they're off the basketball game.
Exactly, and we'll get to our resident referee in a few moments as well. But right now, let's go to Bob Martino, head coach of the Notre Dame girls basketball squad. The Irish are 4-0 on the season. Coach Martino, welcome to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Your ball club, as I just mentioned, off to a 4-0 start, and a very impressive win last night over perennial power Tucker County, 59-40. Just tell me a little bit about your team's first 4 games this year, wins over Robert C. Byrd, Trinity Christian, South Harrison, and Tucker County.
It's a lot of games early in the season, and a lot of good games with Trinity and Tucker, and the girls are meeting the challenge. I'm really impressed right now how they share the ball, and so they're we don't have a lot right now. We only have 8 players. We're hoping to get 9, but so they play a lot of minutes. But I told them before the season, we're going to have to get in shape, and they're getting there. So, but they're great wins and they're great confidence builders. I think that's the big thing we take away from them.
Well, you have a challenge that is not necessarily unique to many single-A schools, and that is only 8 players. How are you able to kind of function your practice, like run through offenses, run through defenses, when you can't put 10 on the floor at one time?
I think my assistants are getting in shape now. So every now and then I got to get in there, but it is a challenge. Last year we had 13, which presents a different challenge because now you got to make sure everyone knows the plays, and so practices take a little longer. Now we don't have to go through that as much, but it is a challenge, and so sometimes when you go into games, you're like, wow, I think we really got this down. Well, maybe you don't because you're not going against, 10 players. And, a lot of it's, a lot of 3-on-3, a lot of 4-on-4. And it's definitely challenging, but I think the girls have done a great job.
And you talked about the early season schedule. You've already got 4 games in basically a little more than a week, about a week and a half or so, and that busyness continues. You've got a game coming up on Monday with Lewis County at home, and then into the Doddridge County tournament Thursday and Friday. Do you like getting this many games in early in the season?
I have nothing to do with it. It's all my Steve Petito. He's also assistant on the boys' team, and he basically does it and says, "Here it is." So I really, I like it actually. I think it's good because you have more time to see and correct some things. I think practice is practice, but games is, that's the real thing. And I think you really want to see how they react in the game, and then you can adjust from there.
Coach, looking at your schedule, I noticed that you play pretty much all your fellow Catholic schools in the state, except for Huntington St. Joe. The days of the Catholic tournament in Huntington are long gone, but is there still a rivalry between the Catholic schools around the state?
Yeah, I think so. And I would throw Trinity in there with them. I think there is a rivalry, but I don't think to us it means anything different. I think that the teams that we really, the rival games are more of the crosstown things, the South Harrisons, now it seems like we have a rivalry with Trinity, and we really didn't have a rivalry with Tucker because we wouldn't beat them, so I really can't call that a rivalry until this year, but we play them twice a year. We have a pretty good schedule this year. We play 3 AA teams twice. I think I looked at it, and there was like 60% of our schedule went to the state tournament last year, so it's a tough schedule, but that's good. It prepares us for, the sectional and the regional.
Coach Bob Martino of the Notre Dame girls basketball squad. Coach, first off, good start to the season. Wish you the best of luck, and we hope to catch up with you again as the season moves forward.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, once again, that's Bob Martino, head coach of the Notre Dame girls basketball team, and we're going to be tight on time here a little bit. That's a shock, right?
No.
When does that ever happen before?
We even put a timer in for you.
Yeah, right? But, it is what it is.
Exactly.
We've got, let's see here. Let's just go ahead and take a break right now. When we come back, we'll talk with Craig Dutton, WXCR. We also hope to talk with Tom McGurl, the head coach of Nicholas County's girls basketball team. And we'll have our resident referee, Bo Anderson. We'll see how long he ends up on hold. We'll do our best with him. This is Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. The Marshall University Sports Journalism degree is designed for you to find a job to put your knowledge and training to work after graduation. The program allows for students to concentrate in one of 3 exciting areas: print, public relations, or broadcasting. Our curriculum features skill-based courses and prioritizes hands-on real-life experiences that not only exposes the students' work to the public, but also to sports journalism professionals who are often willing to provide crucial feedback and career-launching advice. Marshall has 15 varsity teams that afford sports journalism majors the opportunity to cover them in any media format, including text, online, photo, radio, or video. Hands-on experiences come through Marshall's student-powered media, the Parthenon, WMUL Radio, and Herd TV, as well as communications campaigns, off-campus internships, and an expansive alumni network in all areas of expertise. The Marshall University School of Journalism is ready and eager to help you start your sports media career. Learn more about the exciting possibilities by visiting marshall.edu/SOJMC. Many places you can watch Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia every night. You can go to Network West Virginia if you have Suddenlink. Of course, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Of course, find us on Periscope, Twitter, @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. If you're in the Huntington Tri-State region, you can find us on Comcast Channel 25, Armstrong Digital Channel 204. This is Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia.
Celebrating high school basketball around the Mountain State. You're listening to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
10:16 on this Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville. Happy to have you along on the season premiere of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. We will have scoreboard updates again throughout the show. The scores of the games, 79?
79 games.
79 games going on.
45 boys and 34 girls.
This time in 2 months, we'll be complaining about not enough games. But we have not had that problem tonight, believe me.
Not at all.
No complaints whatsoever about that tonight. We're going to talk about the Tug Valley Greater Beckley Christian game in just a few moments. We have Jordan Mounts who will join us for that. Again, we are starting to kind of load up here on our calls. Let's go back to the calls to WXCR in New Martinsville, also WRRR. Craig Dutton joins us here on Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Friday night. Let me try this again.
Basketball Friday Night
in West Virginia. You know, Craig, you understand this. Anytime you start back the new season, it just takes a minute to get back to normal.
It does, Ryan. It keeps me from wanting to call you Fred or Dave there tonight. Or better yet, Fred wouldn't like it. I kept wanting to call him Greg, like my sideline reporter all season during football.
Wow.
But you know, guys, it's been really good to get back in the basketball season, and I was really looking forward to it tonight. We had a great matchup up at Tyler Consolidated this evening before the girls' action, but a lot of things has happened in this last year too. So I'm going to have a little bit more broader perspective of the North now. I now live in Fairmont, West Virginia, so I mean it's going to be a little bit more interesting. But we can talk about that a little bit later on. I'm going to try to catch Fairmont Seniors Tournament a little bit tomorrow evening and probably see Wyoming East for the first time in my life. And actually, all those 4 teams I've never seen before.
Hey, it's always fun to see somebody different.
It is. It's really good to get to be able to do that. And I know Fairmont Senior was last year's runner-up in AA. Then you got Robert C. Byrd taking on Wyoming East. I think Senior is taking on, I can't remember, Winfield. They're taking on Winfield in the nightcap in the tournament tomorrow. I haven't even checked out the scores yet. But it's been a big year. I got married, and I moved away from St. Mary's, now in Fairmont. But you're right. Trying to get back into the basketball season could be a little tough every so often.
We'll talk a little bit more about your move in just a moment. But first, the game you had tonight, Tyler Consolidated and Ritchie County girls basketball. You know, we don't have a final score on that. I believe you do.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Yeah, I do. I put you guys on the post for Twitter here a little bit ago, but yeah, 47-34 is the final tonight. Tyler Consolidated got the win, and they're back above 500 on the season, 2-1 on the season. They avenged their loss to Parkersburg Catholic earlier this week. They had a season opening win last week versus South Harrison. Ritchie is still searching for their first win, and I know Coach David McCullough will find a way to get his team back on track again. He's got a lot of juniors on that team. He's working with 2 seniors, one with not as much minutes in the past, but Abby Hott. She led all scores tonight with 21 between Ritchie County and Tyler Consolidated. It was a whole concerted effort for Tyler Consolidated. They have 4 seniors on that squad this season, and Jolie Walton, who I was looking to a lot to be a big contender, and she'll come in every so often. She had a bit of a slow-scoring night. She came in a lot in the fourth period, and she scored 11, but that's when Josie Jones fouled out of the game at the 3-minute mark of the fourth period. She had 19 tonight for this Lady Knights, and she has been the most improved player I've seen. You don't see a lot of girls improve that much on the defensive side of the ball until you see her and Peyton Coer, fellow seniors, be able to trap Abby Hott and their new freshman guard they've got playing for Ritchie County, and Sophie B. They trapped her and deflected a lot of her passes, her chest passes, to Hott and to Andrea Kirk for Ritchie County. They shut Andrea Kirk down. She didn't even score more than 2 points tonight. And that's a big for Ritchie County. That the Kirk name has been one that's, for years, been known to be a name for the Ritchie County Lady Rebel program. So, big win for Tyler tonight. Their schedule gets a little bit easier. They'll take on, I guess, a fast Doddridge County team that new head coach Ben Thomas was telling me about for Tyler Consolidated. And him and his new assistant coach, Tommy Phillips, have encouraged defense first before scoring. That was a big problem. They weren't scoring points. They were missing a lot of their easy shots. But if you can get out in that shallow front court and force your opponent to get those turnovers, and that's what they were doing all night. I swear, I would think Josie Jones probably had a double-double in points and steals tonight.
So a big win tonight for the Tyler Consolidated Silver Knights as they beat Ritchie County. And Craig, last time we spoke, we were at an event in Morgantown. Yeah. We crossed paths. And, you were telling me you were just about to move to Fairmont. And I believe since...
Yeah, you just found out you liked the house that we were looking at.
Exactly. That's how I found out. Exactly. But and Craig, I understand now the wedding went great.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Wedding went great, and all settled in Fairmont. It's different. I had to travel a good bit more this season to get to do football and basketball, but I enjoy it a whole lot. So I'm getting a little bit of different perspective now.
You had to get a little further off Route 2 than normal, right?
Yeah.
Craig Dutton, WXCR in New Martinsville. We're still going to give you WRRR as a title because
Ryan's got to get that in there. A nice studio up there too, by the way. I said Ryan had to get the RRR. Plus, I had the opportunity to visit during football season up there. So,
of course, the time I would drive home right after the Doddridge game. Normally, if I've been in St. Mary's, I would have got to see you that night. But yeah, you got a chance to be up there at WRRR. Hopefully, our guys from 93R will be able to stop by your guys' place near Scott next year.
Yep.
Or actually near Madison. I got that wrong.
West Madison, to be concise.
There you go.
Or precise, I should say. One of those sizes. But hey, Craig, always a pleasure. Congratulations on getting married, the move. I know that's a big move for you, and certainly wish you nothing but the best in your basketball broadcasts this year.
I appreciate it. We got a big one coming up this Tuesday. Tyler Consolidated boys under new head coach Stephen Nutter, formerly of Webster County. He's got them at 2-0 after they beat Linsley last night, 60-55. So that's going to be a key matchup Tuesday. I'll give you a full update on that one and a few other games as well around the North Central region. I'm going to try to keep track of Fairmont, East Fairmont, and North Marion for you guys if I can.
Greatly appreciate that. Craig Dutton, WXCR, WRRR, and W anybody who will pay him. That's Craig Dutton who joins us here on the program. Thanks so much. And let's go right back to the phones. It came down to the buzzer tonight. Tug Valley and Greater Beckley Christian. those boys basketball squads have played some very meaningful games over the years in regional tournament play. They played a regular season game tonight. Tug Valley gets the win. Jordan Mounts of WFGH joins us. He was there. And Jordan, you get those two programs together more times than not. It's a highly competitive basketball game. Tonight, no different.
Holy cow, guys. What a game is all I can say. The game came down to a shot by sophomore guard Caleb May with 2 seconds left in the game that won the game for Tug Valley. What a game, guys.
Ed May, he's still doing okay, though, right? Didn't have a heart attack here at the end of the game?
Well, I mean, it's not so much Ed May you got to worry about. He's pretty cool, calm, and collected at times. It's our assistant coach, Tyler Hodge.
Yeah,
that's the,
I know Tyler as well.
The big emotion guy. No, everybody's still on cloud nine right now, guys. I tell you what, give those kids from Greater Beckley Christian a lot of credit. That's a very athletic and a very good team. They're going to do well in Charleston this year.
The first week of December, you don't tend to have a lot of the games. Even when you have great matchups, even when you have rivalry games this time of year, I don't think people are necessarily quite into basketball yet. There's that transition from football mood to basketball mood. It's a little bit of a slow one. But when you have a game like that, I mean, that game could have been the Charleston Civic Center with a whole lot more riding on it in terms of the level of play and the competitiveness of that game.
Oh, you're 100% right. It's just talented teams. And something I'm going to mention here quite early on is, for Tug Valley, there were 8 players for the Panthers that played in tonight's game for Tug Valley. And of those 8 players, only one of them is above a sophomore in grade level. We have one senior, Brady Newsom. The rest are freshmen and sophomores playing for the Panthers this year.
So, Jordan, would it be safe to say that with that young team, you can expect a few hiccups along the way, but also that they can play at a high level as they proved tonight?
I think that's a very, very valid statement there, Ryan. Looking at the stats here for Tug Valley, our free throws is where we really, really struggled with, especially in the first half. If I'm not mistaken, the first half we were like 0 for 8 starting the game off from the free throw line. Apologize for that. There's things that where the youth, the inexperience we're going to have some hiccups, we're going to have some growing pains, but this group right here, I got to talk with all these boys before and after the game. Once they kind of got into that groove, it was fun to watch. A group of kids right there, and these kids, they grew up right in front of us. They didn't let that early struggle get them down. They just it was a very good game to watch.
The Tug Valley boys open the season with a win tonight over Greater Beckley Christian, 56-55. They'll host Van on Tuesday and then make the trip to Clarksburg to take on Notre Dame next Saturday. Jordan Mounts, WFGH. Thanks so much.
Hey, no problem, guys. Wish I was there with you all this evening, but if there's one place I'd rather be, it's at the Tug Valley home game.
Hey, there you go. You can't lose on a Friday night. Yeah. You win either way. Thanks so much again, Jordan. We'll get to Bo Anderson a little bit later on in the show.
After the break.
Well, maybe. But I want to say a couple of words here real fast before we go to this break. When you talk with a lot of people, when you have a lot of people that you're contacts with, unfortunately, the reality is that some of them pass away, and we lost a couple of them over the course of the last offseason. One of them we just lost this week. I want to first extend our condolences to the family of Charles Woody Higginbotham. The West Virginia Woodman site that you see that has all the football playoff game scores and all the basketball tournament results over the years. That was his undertaking. He passed away at the age of 65 back on September 12th. And the other one that I wanted to mention, and I hate to even be that short because that doesn't do justice to the amount of research and work that he put in to keep those sites up, which are resources that we use on this show to get historical information because I trust it.
Exactly.
The other is a gentleman from the Martinsburg area named Tom Harmon, not to be confused with the Wayne football coach, but Tom Harmon, who was the great uncle of Martinsburg quarterback Grant Harmon. He passed away this week after a short illness, and he's someone who always did a good job of keeping everyone informed of what was going on in the Eastern Panhandle And really, he would help you bring perspective to what some of those out-of-state results meant on a larger scale, because he would keep you updated on how those schools were doing as well. And just people who are invaluable and can't be replaced, and we'll miss both of them. So Doc Tom, as he was known as, and also the Woodman, West Virginia Woodman, Woody Higginbotham. We'll miss
I
both
would
of them.
like to know the amount of hours he spent researching. He shared his spreadsheet with me on Scott a few years back, and it was down to the wire. I mean, all the way back to the beginning of the school.
And we have a few of those that are still around that do great work. Mr. Baker, whose first name escaped me just now, who's down at Bluefield. He's basically a historian. He does the Four Seasons football website. That is just, again, invaluable. It's basically the encyclopedia of high school football in West Virginia and Virginia.
Carol Jett up in Parkersburg, another guy like that.
And Ed Forsey as well.
Yeah.
This state is fortunate to have people like that. So when you lose them, we'll miss them.
It's a big loss.
And we definitely wanted to mention them tonight. Didn't want to go without passing along our condolences to their families. And it's just one of those situations where unfortunately it happens. We're all going to face it one day, but you hate it when it happens to the people who are helpful to you along the way. We're going to step aside, take a break. We'll come back, get you a scoreboard update. Our resident referee, Bo Anderson. We'll also have, hope to have Nicholas County girls basketball coach Tom McGurl, as well as Wayne girls coach Wade Williamson, and much more when Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia continues here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Every Friday night from 9 to midnight, we're the home for high school basketball in the Mountain State. This is Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. High school basketball action in West Virginia is heating up as teams focus on a trip to the state championship in Charleston. Stay up to date with your local teams and their progress all season long with Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia for 3 hours every Friday night from 9 to midnight. Listen online or on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State. You'll hear sports writers, broadcasters, coaches, players, and your calls recapping your team's game. Visit basketballnight.com for more details on how you can become part of the show. Follow us on Twitter at @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Thanks to everyone tonight that's called, sent text, tweets, and emails. We appreciate you being part of the show and helping us cover all high school basketball in West Virginia. Join us on the phone tonight. Share your team's game. Call toll-free 855-784-6677. 855-784-6677. Follow us on Twitter at @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Text the show 304-249-4924. Text the show 304-249-4924. Go to our website, check out the scoreboard, find out how you can connect with the show tonight at basketballnight.com. Shout out to some of our newest followers, including just a few moments ago, Hunter Adkins. Hello, Hunter, and welcome to the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family. Hunter joins Nick Merritt, Coach Dempsey, and Doug Russell. This is Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia.
Stay up to date on your favorite teams. Check out basketballnight.com. Now, back to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia with Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
10:33 on this Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling, Joe Linville, Bill Cornwell with you. Happy to have you along. We'll talk with our resident referee, Bo Anderson, in just a moment. Yes, we're halfway through the program, and we're already
wide open
zooming through. So let's not waste any time. Let's get to the scoreboard. And Bill, you'll have the boys' scores tonight, but let's start with the girls' scores with Joe.
Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Taking a look at the basketballnight.com scoreboard. On the ladies' side from across the state of West Virginia, It was the Lady Maroon Knights of Wheeling Central knocking off the Polka Dots tonight, 59-26. Boyd County knocked off Wyoming East. Actually, that's not a final. That's that's a halftime score. 33-29. Boyd County. I think there's a mix-up because it says Boyd County Tournament, but it's Wyoming East, so we need to get that one clarified. It was the Bluefield Beavers knocking off Tazewell, Virginia tonight by a score of 56-49. Magnolia, the Lady Blue Eagles, over Payton City tonight, 59-41. And a tight one, the Lady Lumberjacks of Richwood beat Fayetteville. The Lady Pirates go down tonight, 63-60. It was the East Hardy Cougars, falling to Moorfield tonight by a score of 66-13. And the Sam Board Championship game, it's now a final. Clay Battelle knocked off Robert C. Byrd by a score of 44-35. Gilmer County picks up a win tonight. Summer Stover picks up 26 points, 16 rebounds, as Gilmer County knocks off East Fairmont tonight, 56-50. It was over in the Eastern Panhandle, Spring Mills over Hampshire, 71-58. Summers County, the Lady Bobcats pick up a win tonight over Midland Trail. Taylor Isaac had 20 points for Summers County. It was the Lady Grizzlies of Nicholas County falling to the Wayne Pioneers tonight by a score of 68-47. Ripley Vikings also fall tonight to the hands of the Lady Big Reds of Parkersburg, 71-46. The Lady Knights of Preston knock off Washington, 50-37. Tyler County over Ritchie County, 47-34. It was Trinity Christian over South Harrison tonight, 65-13. And in a close one, it was Oak Glen over Toronto, Ohio, 62-60. And that's a look at the girls' scores.
All right, boys' scores. First off, Grady, Virginia beats Greenbrier East tonight, 57-53. In the Hedgesville Mixer, it was Jefferson over Broadfording Academy, 40-37. Here's a final we just received. Pendleton County wins over Turner Ashby High School, 67-55. Robert C. Byrd beat Winfield, 66-53. Campbellville Knights, Coach Rick Chafin, now 2-0. They beat the South Point, Ohio Pointers this evening, 71-50. Wayne falls to Belfry, Kentucky this evening, 72-61. Into the third quarter. This is one that we've had for a while, so we'll have a final. St. Clairsville over Brook, 84-32. Buchanan Upshur falls to the University Skyhawks this evening, 101-52. Buffalo beats Wahama, 74-55. It was Charleston Catholic beating Liberty Raleigh, 55-46. Maybe the game of the night on the boys' side, Tug Valley beats Greater Beckley Christian by a point, 56-55. Caleb May hits a buzzer beater to win the game for Tug Valley. Greenbrier West beats Independence 66-60. It was Van falling to Lincoln County 76-37. Pikeview loses to Oak Hill 96-57. Warren Local of Ohio winner over the Parkersburg Big Reds 50-44. Ritchie County loses to Ravenswood 41-30. It was St. Albans MSAC early play over Riverside 55-46. Shady Spring beat Summers County this evening 69-59. Polka Dots winners over Valley Fayette 65-41. 24 points for Polka's Evan McNeely in that one. Calhoun County loses to Webster County 92-34. It was Fairmont Senior taking care of Wyoming East 77-58. Sam Ward tournament start of the third quarter. Trinity Christian beating Grafton 35-22. And finally, it was Liberty Raleigh falling to Charleston Catholic this evening on the boys' side, 55-46.
As a check of your basketball Friday night scoreboard, yourbasketballnight.com scoreboard update. And one of those games that was a tight game that did come down to the final minutes. Class A Greenbrier West defeats Class AA Independence 66-60 in boys basketball. 33 points tonight for Noah Midkiff. Joining us now on the program is assistant coach Jared Robinson of the Cavaliers. And Coach, a very nice win for your basketball team tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was just a great atmosphere for a high school game, and Coach Perkins did a great job with his boys at Independence, and just a great win for our kids to come through at the end.
And these games early on, I think when you have a ball club that you have postseason aspirations for, and I think Greenbrier West is in that boat this year specifically, you need a lot of close games, not just late in the season, but early in the year as well, to get used to playing in those environments.
Yeah, I told our kids after the game I really felt like we grew up some tonight because, we had a small lead for most of the game, and Independence came back and took the lead a couple times in the fourth quarter, and it just seemed like every time they went ahead, we answered and scored the next trip and could put them away the last minute to finish off a great win for our kids. It's really a disadvantage when the other team's already played once and we haven't. Trying to work out some of those first game issues that always come up. But, our kids didn't play great, but they played really hard and just really proud of how they responded down the stretch.
Tell me about Noah Midkiff's night.
He's just a great player. I told our radio guys after the game that if there's a better point guard around, I'd like to see it. He's just so tough. He can score in so many different ways. He's not very big, but he's just an explosive athlete. He just runs the show for us, and we got a lot of good pieces around him. But tonight when we needed it, he just picked up, and they were packing a zone around our tall kids, and Noah had to respond. We had some other kids make some big threes for us, but he was just the best player on the floor, and he usually is for us. I'm just really proud of him tonight.
Coach, you got a chance to get some practices in over the next week, but next Friday, your club really tested itself with a perennial Class Single A state tournament team with the Charleston Catholic Irish coming to your place.
Yeah, they're a great squad. Coach Morrison does a great job, and Midkiff versus Williams is going to be a point guard matchup to watch. I told our kids it may be the biggest home game we've had in Charmco in quite some time, and they're really excited, and hopefully we can get a good week for practice and get ready for them. They're really good. A lot of weapons. It's not just Williams. They got a lot of different kids that can play, but we're expecting a big crowd and hoping for big things. We had a long talk in the locker room after the game, things we need to work on to get better in the next week to get ready to play them.
And then things doesn't get any easier for you as you go on the road to Shady Spring.
Yeah, Coach Fitzwater told me he was going to fire me for working on our schedule. We thought we had a chance, but we went and added some games. We're playing Greater Beckley. We're playing Shady Spring twice. We're playing Williamstown in a matchup down in West Virginia State later in the year. Just a lot of really good teams on our squad. But, I'm proud of our kids that they want that tough schedule. We talked about it last spring. They said, Coach, we need to play. We want to go win in Charleston. We got a long way to go. We got to get a lot better, but they've had a great attitude, and hopefully we can keep working towards that.
Assistant coach Jared Robertson of the Greenbrier West Cavaliers. They opened their season with a win tonight against Independence, 66-60 on the road. Coach Robertson, congratulations on win one, and wish you guys the best of luck moving forward. I'm sure we'll catch up again as the season moves forward.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for your show. It's a great thing you do for the kids in our state.
Hey, we greatly appreciate that and greatly appreciate what you coaches do as well. The time and hours that all the coaches put in to make that possible. We need to take a break, but I want to go back to the phone lines real quick. Tom McGurl, head coach of Nicholas County. The Grizzlies ranked number 8 in Class AA in the preseason. But my goodness, what a difficult beginning to their season in terms of a schedule. Opened with Wyoming East, who was runner-up last year. Played tonight at Wayne, who was in the semifinals a year ago. And Coach McGurl joins us now. I know they're on the road back to Summersville. And, Coach, I know it was a rough night tonight, but at the same time, can't say enough about just the schedule you guys have to begin the season.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. We definitely our schedule is nothing to sneeze at. We're going to play Bluefield a little later. We're going to end up playing 6 of the 8 tournament teams in AA. Plus, we have matchups with Summers County home and away, and we also have we play number 4 Tucker County in Single A and the Ioga on this coming Wednesday. So we were happy tonight that we survived I-64.
That's a feat in
itself. 3.5
itself.
hours. Yes, it took us 3.5 hours to get down, but we found a few shortcuts around things and got there in time. Great crowd of Wayne tonight. We're definitely not mid-season form yet, but full credit to Wayne. Their kids really showed up with a lot of energy. They played with a lot of passion. They outworked us, probably outcoached us in a lot of ways this season. So, we got a long ways to go, but we got some pieces we can work with. We didn't get a lot done together as a unit this summer, so we feel like we're a little behind where we should be, but it's a long season. Hopefully we can make some progress.
Hey, one of those pieces you have is Anna Hamilton. She's listed at 6 foot. I think she might have grown a little bit since that listing. 23 points tonight. I know she's also an outstanding volleyball player as well. She's a good centerpiece to your ball club.
Yes, sir, she is. She's actually, to my knowledge, she's the all-time leading scorer in Nicholas County women's basketball history, if we shall. But she's an excellent volleyball player. I think this was her second year being first team, and she led the volleyball team to the semifinals, and we're very blessed to have her. Collegiately, I'm not sure if I think she may just go be a student, but she's an excellent athlete.
And, Coach, I know you're on the road back to Summersville tonight. I hope it's much easier traveling back than it was making the trip to Wayne today with all that with the traffic issues and the accident on I-64 that kind of locked things up for a while there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's we're getting close to mile marker 57 where we can turn down Route 19 and head back to Summersville. Not easy always, getting on the bus after you got your tail kicked, but we didn't. I don't think we dropped below 55 coming home, so it felt pretty good.
And one more thing before I let you go. You talk about the trip, and Nicholas County and Wayne, to my knowledge, haven't played in girls basketball, at least not in a home-and-home type situation. You make that trip to Wayne tonight. That's playing, a quality opponent and somebody different in a different setting.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're striving for. We want to put these kids. The years past, maybe this group has been a little bit shy when the moment arrives, if I'll say it that way. We want to put them in as many difficult situations, make them uncomfortable, so that come March or late February, whenever, you get in that situation where you got to win to move on, you've been there and done it, you've seen it in different environments, and we like playing in front of, we went to Wyoming Eastern. Before the game, I thought maybe there was like the Globetrotters that just left us. There was like 500 people in the gym when we got there.
Love the environments in high school basketball. Yep. I think they are improving in girls basketball too across the state. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
To me,
Wayne had a lot of people tonight too. That was a nice environment.
It was nice to meet you tonight.
Yes, sir. You too. And is he still doing this?
He's hosting a tournament down in Glen Hayes right now, so we let him have the evening off. And I took the chopper tonight, so he didn't. we didn't send it back for him.
Okay, well, I figured he'd be off slacking somewhere, but
that's our Coach Marone right there for you, Coach Tom McGurl of the Nicholas County Grizzlies. Again, it was nice to meet you tonight, and I think your basketball club we'll see and hear more from them as the season moves along.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, once again, that is Coach Tom McGurl of the Nicholas County Lady Grizzlies. I inadvertently input Todd. It's Tom. That's my fault.
That's okay.
I'm allowed a mistake or two every now and then. It's early in the season.
First game back, you can say.
Still working our way through. We're going to step aside, take a break. When we come back, we might just talk to our resident referee, Bo Anderson. He's been on hold for 44 minutes.
Since nobody else is in queue.
Nobody else is talking to him. So
somebody wants to call in.
Yeah, so and if you have any questions for our resident referee, feel free to drop us a line at hoops_roundup. We'll try to get to them. We'll talk with Bo Anderson when we come back on Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
High school basketball's voice in the Mountain State. This is Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. There's many places to listen and watch Basketball Friday Night. We're on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State. Just click on our affiliates page for the station nearest you. You can also watch our high-definition video on YouTube. Go to basketballnight.com. Just click to watch. We're also on Facebook Live. Go to the Basketball Friday Night Facebook page, and you can watch us live. We're on Periscope, too. We're on Twitter, @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup, and we're on cable statewide on Suddenlinks Network West Virginia. In the Huntington Tri-State region, we're on Comcast, Channel 25, Armstrong Cable, Digital, Channel 204. We want to send you everywhere. Get your game picks in so we can feature them in the video stream. If you're watching the video now, you'll see pictures sent in to us from everyone, everywhere. Send us your picks on Twitter @hoop_roundup, @hoops_roundup. You can also go to our Facebook page and send them via Facebook. Send them by email to scores@basketballnight.com. Give us your best picks of your team and your fans and become a part of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Once again, follow us on Twitter @hoops_roundup, @hoops_roundup. Big shout out to our newest follower, Jennifer Farley and Hunter Adkins. They're part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family.
This is high school basketball's home for the Mountain State. Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
10:51 on this Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling alongside Joe Linville and Bill Cornwell. Happy to have you with us as we roll toward the 11 o'clock hour. Now's as good a time as any. 48 minutes strong. Let's go to the phone lines. Our resident referee, Bo Anderson.
Do we dare?
Joins us on Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Bo, it's not basketball season until we talk with you.
Well, I thank you guys, and I like to be able to get ready and be on the show because that means we're started, and I'm glad to get going, you might say.
About 2 weeks in already.
Yeah, I've had games. I had a game the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so I've been going pretty strong here, and for the last, basically about the last 3 weeks, really.
Well, we always appreciate your time, and thanks for calling. No, I'm playing. It's always good, though, Bo, that you kind of allow us to talk about things that we see, things that maybe we don't see all the time, certain rules, but it's the beginning of the season. So let's just jump right to this. Any points of emphasis this year that are or is that a phrase that gets kind of overused even within when talking about officiating?
Well, there are always some points of emphasis and, some things that, they want us to look at as a whole. And we really only have, and it's not a major rule change. We really only have one thing as far as rules go, and that's a tip ball by the defense when the offense has the ball in the front court, and it goes into the back court, and a player, instead of it hitting the ground and getting it, catches it in the air, and they have deemed that should be a legal play. But we have to keep in mind that other than that, if the defense knocks the ball off of the offense's leg and it goes in the back court and the offense gets it, that's a back court violation because, that team is still to be considered in team control in the front court and the touching doesn't affect it. So, really there's not a whole lot. Fortunately, from our standpoint, they haven't changed a whole lot here in the last little bit, so we can worry about the rules that we already have.
Have you come across anything kind of out of the norm already in just this short, 2.5 weeks since the season began?
Well, I may say that my first 3 games that I had, 3 different times in 3 different games, a player that the coach wanted into the game got up and come right straight in instead of going to the scores table and checking in. And I had to send them back to the table so we didn't have to have any technical foul issues there for an illegal substitution. They got a little excited. It's early on the season, and, I'm sure they were ready to come in the game, and they just got up and went right straight in. And I said, whoa.
They were excited.
They were excited, yes. And so they, other than that, nothing really, odd from that standpoint as far as crazy plays goes. I will mention a couple things that I'd like to mention. The one thing I want to talk about tonight myself, you hear the word Euro and Euro step, and we don't have that word in our book, but what we have is either traveling or not traveling. Now, I want everybody to picture a player who's in the air, and that player lands on the right foot, followed by the left foot. Well, the right foot is the pivot, and they can pick that right foot up and shoot it. Now, where people want traveling, coaches, fans, everybody, that's got their fans manual out, is a player who's in the air. It does not say that right foot has to be straight in front of them. Okay, they can sidestep that right foot. So if they take a step and lean to the right, and then the left foot comes down and they go left and pick the pivot foot up, they can still score. And a lot of people want things because they look funny, and I've already heard a couple of comments about that's a Euro step, that's not allowed. It's not whether it's a Euro step or not, it's whether it's a legal play or not. And so anybody that's watching the game, take a second to officiate the game and say, okay, the first foot to touch is the pivot foot. If they step and lean to the right with the first foot, they're still legal. It don't matter. It doesn't have to be straight. If they completely step 10 feet to the left with the other foot, it's still legal, and they can still pick their right foot up and score a shot. That's a legal play, and there's a lot of misconceptions about it. I have a lot of people ask me, oh, what's this? Think about if it's a legal play or not. Don't put the word Euro in there because there is no such thing as Euro in the Federation rule book. Think about it as being a legal play, and you'll answer your question whether it's traveling or not if you know the traveling rule.
Bo, I want you to know I do homework now to keep up with you because courtesy of the University of Kentucky Sports Information Office, I'll watch Weekly Whistle every week, and freedom of movement's a big issue on that. So we'll talk about that on a future event, Bo.
Yeah, Bo, we'll talk with you again next week. We appreciate your time. We'll be back with a scoreboard update. We'll talk with Wayne girls basketball coach Wade Williamson. The Lady Pioneers 3-0. That's when Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia continues on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. Special thanks tonight to all of our affiliates, Network West Virginia statewide, Comcast Channel 25, Armstrong Cable Channel 204. You can also listen on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State, including our newest affiliate, We Rock West Virginia Louder, 105 KQV, WKQV Cowan, 105.5 FM, and heard in Braxton County on 106.9 FM. 103.7 Jack FM, WQWV in Fisher, the Valley's Watchdog, 1600 AM, WKKX Wheeling, 1370 AM, WVLY Moundsville. Jackson County's home for Southern Gospel, Singing News Radio, 92.5 FM, WTHM LP, Ravenswood, Ripley. Knights Radio, 91.5 FM, WRSG Middleburn. Talk Radio, WRNR Martinsburg, 740 AM, 106.5 FM. Classic Hits, 106 WHFI Linside, 106.7 FM. 95, the Sports Fox, WBES Charleston, 950 AM. The Voice of the Coalfields, 101.9 FM and 1290 AM. WVLW in Logan, Light Rock 93R, WRRR St. Mary's 93.9 FM. The Ticket, 102.3 FM WNTD in Hinton. The greatest oldies of all time, 98.5 FM and 101.5 FM WQAZLP, Edmond, Beckley. Tune for You Radio, Yap Radio, 101.7 FM WYAPLP Clay, and Marshall University's flagship station, WMUL in Huntington.
Welcome back to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. To join tonight's program, call 855-78-HOOPS. That's 855-784-6677. Follow us on Twitter @hoops_roundup for all the scores all the time. And visit basketballnight.com for a comprehensive look at schedules and standings for every team in the state. Stay tuned. Another hour of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia begins right now.
Third and final hour of our debut episode of Season 6 of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling alongside Bill Cornwell and Joe Linville. Happy to have you along with us on it feels like a good night for basketball outside. It's below freezing throughout all of West Virginia.
But it's not snowing.
Yeah, as long as it's not icy.
But the southern half of the state is kind of hunkering down for what is supposed to be a legitimate snow issue that comes up Sunday. So certainly hope that all of you out there are safe and warm both tonight and throughout the weekend as well. We're going to talk with Wayne High School girls basketball coach Wade Williamson in a moment. But first, let's get a scoreboard update. Joe, you'll have the boys' scores. We'll turn the girls' scores over to Bill Cornwell.
All right, and now let's take a look at the basketballnight.com scoreboard. It was Grundy, Virginia, knocking off the Greenbrier East Spartans tonight in a final 57-53. In the Hedgesville Mixer, it was Jefferson over Broadfordine Academy, 40-37. Pendleton County winners tonight over Turner Ashby, 67-55. Lady Eagles of Robert C. Byrd knocked off Winfield tonight. Correction on that. That's the Robert C. Byrd men's Eagles. Knocked off Winfield Generals tonight, 66-53. Philip Barber over Pocahontas County tonight, 93-36. It was Cabell Midland knocking off South Point, Ohio, 71-50. Belfry, Kentucky beat the Wayne Pioneers tonight, 72-61. St. Clairsville, Ohio over Brooke, 101-44. It was the University Hawks over Buchanan Upshur, 101-52. Buffalo over Wahama tonight, 74-55. It was Charleston Catholic, the Irish, over Liberty Raleigh, 56-46. In that game we talked about earlier, Tug Valley knocked off Greater Beckley Christian, 56-55. Tug Valley's Caleb May hit a shot at the buzzer for the win. It was Independence falling to Greenbrier West tonight, 66-60. It was Lincoln County over the Van Bulldogs, 76-37. Mountview, the Golden Knights over the Man Hillbillies, 68-59. It was Oak Hill, the Red Devils over Pikeview tonight, 96-57. Warren Local Ohio over the Big Reds of Parkersburg, 50-44. Ritchie County, the Rebels fall to Ravenswood tonight, 41-38. It was the Red Dragons of St. Albans knocking off the Riverside Warriors, 55-46. Shady Spring winners tonight, 69-59 over Summers County. It was the Polka Dots over Valley Fayette, 65-41. Evan McNeely scores 24 points for the Dots. Webster County, big win over Calhoun County, 92-34. Fairmont Senior, the Polar Bears over Wyoming East, 77-58. It was the Hedgesville Eagles over Silver Oak Academy, Maryland, 87-46. And this one's still showing a third quarter score in the Sam Board Championship game. Grafton trails Trinity Christian 35-41, and it was Charleston Catholic over Liberty Raleigh 55-46. And that's a look at the boys' scores.
Lots of girls' scores to look at. First off, in the Williamstown tournament, Poca loses to Wheeling Central 59-26. Real dandy at the Boyd County, Kentucky tournament. Boyd County Lions, the home team, take care of Wyoming East 59-53. It was Bluefield beating Tazewell, Virginia 56-49. Magnolia over Payton City 59-41. Tug Valley falls to Cameron 67-60. It was Richwood over Fayetteville 63-60. James Monroe defeats Blacksburg, Virginia 54-32. Moorfield Yellow Jackets all over East Hardy. This was kind of ugly. 66-13. Moorfield with the win over East Hardy. In the Sam Boyd tournament, Robert C. Byrd falls to Clavetale Seabees by a score of 44-35. Gilbert County beats East Fairmont 56-50. Summer Stover had 26 points and 16 rebounds in a losing effort for East Fairmont. Spring Mills beats Hampshire 71-58. It was Summers County a winner over Midland Trail 63-41. Taylor Isaac had 22 points tonight for the Summers County Bobcats. It was Wayne beating Nicholas County 68-47. The Big Reds of Parkersburg beat Ripley 71-46. Preston over Washington 50-37. Ritchie County falls to Tyler Consolidated 47-34. Riverview beats Mountain View 67-20. In overtime, it was Grace Christian falling to Tulsa in the tournament out at Tulsa High School 51-45. Trinity Christian beats South Harrison 65-13. Oak Glen over Toronto, Ohio by a score of 62-60.
And that's a check on your basketballnight.com scoreboard. And let's go back to the phones right now. Wade Williamson, head coach of the Wayne Lady Pioneers. They go to 3-0 with a 68-47 victory tonight at home over Nicholas County. And Coach Williamson, another nice win for your basketball team tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, we had a good win for us. We played a really good team. I thought they were had a tough trip down, so that probably had some effect on them. But we were able to play pretty well and get the win. So it's always nice to win.
17 points tonight from Lake and Atkins, but I thought what was perhaps most impressive about this win, Coach, tonight, she got in foul trouble about 3 minutes into the game and sat out the rest of the first half, and your lead extended.
Yeah, you got it. Basketball season or basketball's a long season, and then you're going to have things adversity like that at times. And so your kids that come off the bench, you got to be able to come in and give you good minutes. And we were able to get several kids in there and kind of mix and match a little bit and get some good minutes out of people and some buckets and big shots and things like that. So, that's a good sign for us moving forward. We don't have to rely on one person to do things, and so other kids can step in and do them. So that's always kind of a challenge, but other kids stepped up and did a good job.
Coach, you had such a great season last year, but you lost some important parts. Ariel Atkins, obviously, everybody in the state knew about her. But, talk about the development of this ball club in the offseason and the attitude. It seems like you've just picked right up where you left off with the returning team.
Well, the kids work hard in the offseason, and so we had, we got out in 3-week period and worked hard at it, and the kids work hard at it on their own. And a lot of them, get on some travel teams and take some basketball lessons from different people and such. And so we get kids that are focused more than, several kids focused on playing, and that always helps. And so, it is a challenge losing those people, obviously. But, that's what you have to do if you want to build a program. You have to be able to graduate people and then just have other people step in.
I was going to say, Coach, it looks like you've reloaded well. You're off to a good start. Your schedule, what do you know about the Cardinal Conference? I haven't got a good feel on that yet. Have any idea what's going on there?
I mean, I think that a lot of the teams in the Cardinal Conference will be much improved. I think that there's a lot of good teams in the Cardinal Conference. That's a really tough conference and a lot of tough places to go play. I mean, you go to Chapmanville, you go to Logan, you go to Winfield, you go to Nitro and Sissonville, and those are tough places to play. And everybody seems like they got some good players. So I haven't really got to see many of the Cardinal Conference teams yet, but that's just those are tough places to go play. So we're just going to have to kind of keep our head down and do what we need to do.
Wade, as far as success of your program and being such a winner and getting a lot of good statewide attention, does that make it harder or make it easier to put a schedule together now?
Well, I think it makes it harder. I mean, quite honestly, 4 years ago, anybody would play us anywhere at any time, and or 5, and now we're in a situation where, quite frankly, me and Coach McGurl at Nicholas County, we're both having trouble getting games this year, and so that's kind of how we got hooked up on the home and away, but we like to go play different places and experience different things, and so it's going to be a good thing for us to go there, and I know it'll be a tough environment there when we go there in February, and but it gets a little bit more difficult. We opened up with Huntington High this year, so that makes it a little bit, anytime you're scheduling, somebody like that, things are a little bit more difficult, and I think we want to go ahead and challenge ourselves a little bit more as we grow as a program, and we're still trying to grow as a program. So.
And Coach, you mentioned that game with Huntington High to open the season. You win that ball game. Actually, we're trailing by 4 going into the fourth quarter, won by 7, and even at that, had your 2 leading scorers foul out in that, and you were able to win the ball game still. And Huntington turned around and beat Parkersburg South next time out. So I mean, at least early in the season, that's a very good win. And as a coach, you saw specifically what your team was able to overcome with the athleticism of Huntington High. That was a really good win for your team.
Yeah, it was a good win for us. It was, it's first game of the year, so it's you don't want to get too blown out of proportion, but it's a big win. Anytime we can beat a AAA school of that size, and they're so athletic, I just felt like they ran us down all day, and we were pretty athletic ourselves, but they just have so many good athletes, and I don't know that they didn't shoot the ball particularly well against us, and that was kind of the difference in the game. I thought once I sat back and looked at it, we were able to make 7 threes, and I think they made 2, and we were able to make a few more foul shots than them, and so that's that's kind of how you win games. Sometimes you've got to be able to put the ball in the basket. We were able to do that and kind of fend them off a little bit at the end there. They were kind of making a run at us there, and the kids just they showed a little grit, a little poise, and we talk about playing through adversity a lot, and it's just something you got to do when you play basketball. So,
well, Coach, congratulations again on the win tonight, on the 3-0 start, and I know you made it to the state tournament a year ago. You made it to the state semifinals a year ago. So you've kind of done all of this before. I know you still enjoy it, but at the same time, you put it in perspective. Your goal is to be as good as you can be in March.
Sure, and I think that's kind of the reason. You want to pick up. We were going to play a really, really good team next Saturday too, Meigs, Ohio, and I mean we're going to play, and our conference is very tough. So hopefully that'll get us in a situation where we're playing our best basketball at the right time and having be battle tested in a lot of ways. And I think we beat a really good team tonight. I think we played well. And I think they're going to get better, and they're going to play better as they move forward. Their big girls tough, so we got a lot of different challenges, and so we hope we can get back there, obviously, and that's what the goal is every year.
It's a team. It's a lot of fun to watch. Wade Williamson, head coach of the Wayne Lady Pioneers. They defeat Nicholas County tonight, 68-47. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and as you hear the sound of the Okay, they're really good with this sound effects there. The chopper that took me from that game tonight and Wayne here to.
I think they got new toys to play with this year, and boy, they are playing with them.
Hey,
let me tell you what, Coach Williamson just doing an outstanding job, and as he said, he's developed a real basketball culture at Wayne because he talks about the girls playing on travel teams, getting personal instruction, and there's a lot of opportunities in the Huntington area for folks who will tutor you in basketball. And obviously these girls are taking it seriously, and it can mean nothing but good for the Pioneer program. Again, possibly making the Charleston trip again this year.
That's what I say. They got that taste of Charleston.
Yes.
Now you want to go another game up. So, that championship's what you want to bring back.
And like I said, that's a fun team to watch. They really get after it. And got to see Nicholas County tonight. That was somebody different. Enjoyed seeing them. Enjoyed talking with Coach McGurl after the game. And that's a ball club that's going to get better too. They have 4 starters back from a year ago. They're a little injury riddled right now. I think when the season's said and done, you'll look back at that. That was a good win for Wayne tonight on December the 7th. Long way from March, but it's still a good start. Absolutely. And we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Wes McKinney, WAEY in Princeton. He had the Princeton-Nicholas County boys game last night. This might be the most we've got to talk about Nicholas County ever on this program. Boys and girls
Nicholas
basketball.
County night.
Yeah, and Jennifer Jude, assistant coach of the Tulsa Lady Rebels, they picked up a big overtime win tonight. We'll talk with her as well when Basketball Friday night in West Virginia continues here on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. Does showing up for work in a ballpark or an arena sound good to you? A Marshall University sports journalism degree can get you there. Sports journalism at Marshall is important, it's serious, and it's big business. Sports media and communications careers are some of the most competitive and marketable worldwide in a multi-billion-dollar industry. We'll prepare you to think critically, report accurately, and artfully tell the stories on and off the field or court. If this sounds like you, the Marshall School of Journalism is ready and eager to start your journey. Learn more at marshall.edu/SOJMC. Thanks for joining us tonight. Many people have joined us on Twitter. Thank you for that. And a shout out to them tonight for joining the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family. We've got a big list of additions, including Hunter Adkins, Jennifer Farley, Isaac Dingus, Shane Hiley, Trey, Jeff Mollahan, Hatfield McCoy Shootout, Jace, John Blankenship, Stephanie Ellis, William Phillips Presley, Nick Westernhaver, Luke Skywalker, Lauren Rausch, Andrew G., Gretchen Ball, Cornsnake, Stephen R. Richardson, Mason Ballard, Proud Papa, Tyler Smith, Coach Tesla Akers, Ronnie Skeens, Magnolia Girls Basketball, and we welcome them, Brandon Weaver, Dallas Nichols, Albert Napper, Oak Hill Boys Basketball. They have all become part of the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Join us at Hoops_Roundup.
Celebrating high school basketball around the Mountain State. You're listening to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
It is 11:18 on this Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on December the 7th, 2018.
It's Pearl Harbor Day.
It is Pearl Harbor Day, and 77 years ago?
77 years ago.
Okay, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, a day which will live in infamy and jump-started the U.S. involvement into World War II, and a day that really changed the lives, even generations beyond the greatest generation. I mean, for all of us, somebody in our family was affected by that day and by that attack on Pearl Harbor. lot of service people came from West Virginia. It seemed like, of course, that was the case during World War II, basically throughout the country. But you'd be hard pressed to find a family that didn't have someone involved in World War II.
Right, and of course, the ship, the USS West Virginia, went down. Yeah.
Went down.
And
mercifully, they pulled it out of the water and reconstructed it, and it fought again.
Yep. And
kind of like West Virginia,
a resilient West Virginia, an aptly named
ship.
Yep. Absolutely. And so many veterans too. We've just passed Veterans Day in the past month, and I just want to take a minute to say thanks to all of those out there who served this country, allowed us the freedoms that we have and the opportunities that we have just to sit here and talk basketball. In the grand scheme of life, basketball is not a big deal.
When we
love it.
When we talk about veterans, I'll never forget the night we had Woody Williams on here, and that was so neat.
Yeah, the oldest living Medal of Honor winner.
It's still going strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
outlived the baseball field that was named after him.
and he's 95 now, and he's like the ever ready bunny. He just keeps on ticking, and matter of fact, he travels because I have some interactions with Woody. He must travel at least twice a week somewhere around the country still.
And he's been vital in the Gold Star family monuments that are appearing. They just put one in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I saw that
recently.
report. Bill Murray.
Yes, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
WSAZ alum.
Good to see Bill.
Yep. Now living on a boat in Wilmington. No, he did that report for us, and that was nice. And it's just, you see that, and that is the work of people such as Woody Williams. And, it was such a pleasure to have him on last year. Dig up the archives if you want to listen to that interview. It was shortly after he tossed the coin at the Super Bowl last year. The man's done everything. I mean, it's really just incredible. Like I said, I played a baseball game on Woody Williams Field, and it no longer exists. They tore it out and built a soccer complex on top of it. He outlived the baseball field that was named after him. I don't mean to make light of that, but that's incredible to me.
Like Bill said, it just keeps on ticking.
Just a fascinating
cool.
person, and we should treasure those people.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately we lose them, every day, basically. So definitely take a moment out to say thanks to all of those who are the reason why we're here today, and for the various actions that they went through, and for all the good things they did for us. West McKinney, WAEY in Princeton, had the Tigers win over Nicholas County last night. Princeton is off to a good start this season at 2-0, and Wes joins us now on the program. And Wes, good basketball game and a good start to the season for the Tigers.
Yeah, guys. By the way, Happy New Year. I know it's Pearl Harbor Day, but Happy New Year, new basketball season. Great to hear you guys' voices again as we get ready for another season of basketball here. And Ryan, as you mentioned, Princeton 2-0 on the year, got a win over a Tazewell, Virginia team back on Tuesday night. They're struggling a little bit, still trying to rebuild down there in Tazewell County, just across the border here in southern West Virginia. But that win last night, we talked about it before our broadcast and then after the game with first-year head coach Rob Williams. Last night was a chance for Princeton to move that proverbial needle a little bit. Of course, Nicholas County, a very senior-heavy team, and the junior Luke LaRose leads them, and they, I'm sure, have some state tournament aspirations here in about 3 months. And the Grizzlies also ranked number 10 in the Class AA AP poll in the preseason. So a nice win for Princeton last night. They really controlled the game from about this 5-minute mark of the first quarter, basically through the end. Nicholas County got within 4 points a couple of times there in the second half, but every time Nicholas County got close, Princeton responded. And I think that's really what you wanted to see from Princeton last night. How much, or I should say, how well was Princeton going to respond to each run that Nicholas County threw at them? Luke LaRose had 32 points, but Princeton, I thought, had a nice game plan. They let Luke LaRose get his and tried to stop everyone else, and that's kind of what they did last year whenever they beat Nicholas at home. They let Luke LaRose get whatever he wanted. They just made sure to shut down the other 4 players on the floor at the time of Princeton's win last year.
So Princeton, again, off to a 2-0 start with those wins. And A game coming up this week against Graham, Virginia on the road. And I find this interesting, Wes, because Graham's football team plays in the Virginia State Championship this weekend. And that's a quick turnaround to a Monday game with Graham. I know it's a AA size school in Bluefield, Virginia. Shares the border with West Virginia there. Is that a Graham team that'll be at full strength?
Actually, guys, they've actually moved that game to the following, whatever the 21st is, the following
Friday.
Following Friday, yes. Thank you. I just know that. I just know it's the 21st. Yeah, they're actually going to move that game to the following Friday, the 21st, because of Ryan, as you mentioned, Graham being in the 2A state championship tomorrow over in Salem, Virginia.
The G-Men. Should be a good matchup when Graham and Princeton do battle now, as Wes just mentioned, move back a little bit. But for this Princeton team, there were some good signs last year. I know they weren't able to necessarily sustain them for long stretches, but that was a ball club that I thought improved and showed good signs as the season went along. Where are the expectations for this team right now?
Ryan, I don't want to put this kind of expectations on Princeton this early in the year, but last year, as we were driving back from George Washington High School after Princeton had lost in the regional final, I looked at my broadcast partner, Eric Lester, and I simply said, Princeton needs to be right back in this same spot next year, meaning this season, because this is a team with 6 seniors. They start 4 of those guys along with a really athletic sophomore, Ethan Parsons. And I know that Woodrow Wilson they run the section until further notice. Greenbrier East is a little bit young guys still. I know that Bimbo Coles is trying to build something there in Fairleigh, but they're still a little bit young over there in Greenbrier County. I don't think there's any reason to think that the expectations for Princeton is to at least make a regional final this year and be playing either here at home or be playing somewhere over in the Kanawha Valley come the second week of March.
Wes, first off, good to hear from you. I miss our interactions since Princeton's no longer in the MSAC. Used to enjoy visiting with you every year when you make the visit to Spring Valley or me visit you at Princeton. Talk about Coach Rob Williams. We spent so many years watching Princeton coached by Coach Gilliard. What does Coach Williams bring his style-wise and such?
Well, he was an assistant for Coach Gilliard there for 2 or 3 years before he took over as the head coach. And really, guys, that happened kind of late. Coach Gilliard didn't step down from being the head boys coach till about, I think it was like the middle to the end of October there, like right around like week 9 or 10 of football season. So this happened really quickly. And actually, tryouts, Princeton still didn't have a head coach there, when tryouts began right before Thanksgiving. So, but Coach Williams knows, basically every kid on the roster from his time as being the assistant coach and then also the head JV coach. But, it's a little bit of a different philosophy than Coach Gilliard. He was more of an X's and O's guys, wanted to run half-court sets. But Coach Williams really wants to get up and down. And the first half last night was a really, really fast-paced game. Not a lot of fouls were called. Both teams kind of had freedom of movement. Now, things did get a little bit tighter there in the second half as far as the game being called. But Coach Williams, he'll tell you he wants to press people. He wants to just out-hustle people because he knows that there's going to be some games this year where Princeton doesn't have the athletes to say a Bluefield or a Graham or a Woodrow Wilson or, if they would get into a regional final against a Capital or a South Charleston or someone like that. He knows that he maybe doesn't have the best athletes, but he wants to try to out-effort you and out-hustle you each night.
Princeton Tigers off to a 2-0 start. The boys will be back in action not on Monday, but next Friday against Pikeview. Wes McKinney, WAEY, thanks so much for joining us, and good to hear from you. It's like it's basketball again.
Yes, indeed, guys. Yeah, we'll talk to you next Friday night, Princeton's Christmas tournament. Princeton and Pikeview in the nightcap. Early game is Mount View and Bluefield. So it should be a pretty good basketball next week down here in Mercer County.
Should be a lot of fun. Again, Wes McKinney, WAEY in Princeton. Let's go back to the phones. And another tournament that's taking place right now is the Barbara J. Marone Key Player Shootout at Tulsa High School. Girls basketball tournament. That's why Coach Marone isn't with us tonight. And he has sent to us via phone assistant coach Jennifer Jude. She joins us now as the Lady Rebels pick up a win in overtime tonight over Grace Christian. And Coach Jude, nice win for the Tulsa Lady Rebels tonight.
Yeah, we were very pleased with our effort tonight and glad to come out with a win.
And an overtime game early in the year, that can kind of test your mettle a little bit.
Yeah, we have a pretty young squad out there, so to be tested early on, I thought the girls, really took a step forward tonight.
19 points in the win tonight for Sarah Jude, and really it's a ball club that while young, there still are some names that are familiar to people who followed them a year ago. So at the very least, while you do have a lot of young players, your older players are very experienced.
Yeah, Sarah's, had a lot of experience at the varsity level, and she came up big for us tonight, got a steal there towards the end of the regulation and then hit some free throws in a basket in overtime. But, the girls just kind of follow her lead. So she's a good leader for us out there, and she's really brought these young ones along. And I'm excited to see what this season has for her.
And tomorrow you'll take on Cameron in the championship game of the Key Player Shootout. Cameron, a 67-60 win tonight over Tug Valley. What did you think watching that game?
Well, I think we'll have our hands full. I thought that game, went back and forth. It was close the whole way through. We'll definitely have to make some adjustments in short notice and short turnaround. But they got some really nice players, and we just hope that what we have planned will work.
So is the real reason Coach Marone didn't join us because the overtime game just took too much out of him tonight?
No, I think he just wants to throw me under the bus here.
Hey, I think we found Rick's replacement. She's doing a great job tonight.
Rick who?
Well, thanks for the encouragement.
Now, the Lady Rebels now 2-0 on the season, and Coach Jude, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for hanging in there with us tonight, and best of luck to your basketball club tomorrow as they try to win the Barbara J. Marone Key Player Shootout with a game against Cameron.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
And Coach Marone is still here if you need to talk to him.
Oh,
I think you covered all bases.
You know what? I'm sure he's enjoying the hospitality room.
He probably
which is, by the way, second to none at this event.
Yes, anytime you go to Tulsa, they will feed you.
Yep, we tried to.
But again, thanks so much, and good luck tomorrow.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, again, that's Jennifer Jude, assistant coach of the Tulsa Lady Rebels, standing in for Coach Marone tonight. That ball club picks up an overtime victory over Grace Christian, which, for those who don't know, not an SSAC team, but is a private school in Huntington. So a nice win for Tulsa over the Soldiers tonight.
And they're playing a lot more SSAC schools, so they're
just down the road from where we are.
I mean they're literally like 3 miles away, and they're kind of challenging themselves, and it's good to see more of the Christian schools kind of getting out of the cocoon of that group and playing the bigger public schools.
And a good game tonight. I mean, that's a very competitive basketball game, and we love those.
Exactly.
We love them. We'll be back with a scoreboard update as we get to the last half hour of Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. When we come back, you're on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Jaden Lindsay, East Fairmont Bees. Jacob Clark, Riverside Warriors. Cole Honecker, Shady Springs Tigers. Sydney Nestor, Tucker County Mountain Lions. Isaiah Morgan, Ravenswood Red Devils. Deja Busby, Sherman Tide. Drew Williamson, Chapmanville Tigers. Ashton Maxwell, Buchanan Upshur Bucks. Casey Hinchman, Spring Valley Timberwolves. Whitney Sampson, Wayne Pioneers. Cole Whited, Philip Colts. Abby Beeman, Frankfurt Falcons. What they all have in common is they were selected last year by Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia as West Virginia's Standout Athlete of the Week. The last time you'll hear their names. If you have someone remarkable on your team? Did you have an athlete make an outstanding play? You can nominate your team's players to become the Basketball Friday Night Standout Athlete of the Week. Each week, we consider nominees based on leadership, performance on the court, academic performance, involvement in the community, and volunteer work. Every Friday night, we select a Standout Athlete of the Week. Head over to our website, basketballnight.com. Click on the Standout Athlete of the Week tab. Fill out the nomination form. We'll take it from there. We want you to nominate your team's athletes. Check it out at basketballnight.com. Other things we want you to do, send us pictures of your games, of your fans. Send them to us on Twitter at hoops_roundup, You can send them to us via our Facebook page, or you can email them to scores@basketballnight.com. Give us your best pics of your team and your fans, and become a part of basketballnight.com.
Stay up to date on your favorite teams. Check out basketballnight.com. Now, back to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia with Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
It is 11:35 on this Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling alongside Bill Cornwell and Joe Linville. Happy to have you along with us here on this first episode of the season, the first Friday night in December. This is about as early as this show starts, actually. I think the way the calendar falls. I think usually it ends up
all
being
the holidays
second,
are kind of
the second Friday.
That's what I was thinking when I was kind of set my schedule earlier. So,
but we're always the weekend after the Super Six, and 6 seasons now, 5 complete, and starting our 6th. We're beyond the postgraduate year.
It's just flying by. It's hard to believe.
I mean, it really is. You talk about it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe during the year how fast it goes, and it's also just hard to believe that the first group of kids that we talked to who were seniors have completed college by now,
and in the working world.
Yes, and or are seniors if they redshirted.
Right.
For instance, one of the players we talked a lot about the first year of the program was George Washington High School senior John Elmore, and things turned out pretty well for him.
Absolutely.
And it's fascinating to watch these kids grow. And another one that we talked to a lot throughout the course of her career was Shayna Gore. She's in her senior season here at Marshall.
Right.
Of course, we are on the campus of Marshall University. A big thank you to the School of Journalism and Mass Communications, who makes it possible for us to broadcast out of the television studios here on the Marshall University campus.
First-class operation.
Absolutely, and a big thanks to all of those who make that possible.
And it's good to see that there's more and more high school kids getting opportunities at all levels of college. But we've talked about John Elmore, but obviously you got C.J. Burks at Marshall, and you've got Jared West, and of course Brandon Napper at West Virginia. So both of the universities in the state giving kids in our state opportunities to play.
Local kids.
Yeah. Local kids, so to speak. Play that hillbilly ball, as they say.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's really a lot of fun, though, to watch these kids grow up in their own way. And many times we talk to them several times over the course of a couple of years, and you can hear them mature just within their answers.
Yeah.
And I can be honest with you, we've been fortunate, and I think this speaks to the kids. I don't know that we've talked to anybody that I would even consider quote-unquote immature over the years on this program. We've had a lot of good kids that we've talked to, and it really talks about the character of a lot of the kids within the state of West Virginia. Unfortunately, this state does have its downfalls, and we tend to focus on them when it has so much to offer that is positive as well. We expect that positivity, so we don't necessarily celebrate it as much sometimes.
Right.
And I understand that, but then you focus on the bad things and you lose track of the good things.
Right. But like you say, it's great watching their kids grow up. I mean, into young adults.
And just letting you know what's looking forward on this program. We'll do a scoreboard update again near the end of the show. We'll also have Cause Time, one of our favorite times. Rick Kozlowski of the Martinsburg Journal.
You never know what he's thinking,
Right. We just kind of welcome him in and
just
turn him
wing
loose.
it.
And because, sometimes you have something that comes up and you can kind of point toward a conversation. But for the most part, we're all just people who enjoy this sport. And I was talking to Jason Filial on the Sports Fill-In on a local station in Huntington about the program a couple of weeks ago, and he asked, who are we looking at as contenders this year? And I said, probably the same handful of schools that are true contenders every year, but we don't really focus on them. They get their due as the season progresses and in the postseason. But everybody has a story, and we enjoy the sport and how the sport brings together communities and people and families, and
we enjoy the history. We love to talk about the history of the game in West Virginia because there's so many great stories.
And I think I can safely say that all of us appreciate and enjoy football. West Virginia is a basketball state.
It's becoming that more and more. At one time I would have said we're a football state, but I think you're right. I think basketball is really grabbing hold and growing.
Go to the Thursday morning session or the Wednesday morning, either one, of the boys state basketball tournament, the morning session, and you will have more people in that arena than attend the Saturday AAA and A games of the football state championships in a typical year.
Yep.
When I say typical, I mean you don't have Wheeling Park.
I've never been to Wheeling Island.
But I'll turn to Bill. Bill, it's true.
Exactly. Now, I wasn't at the game last week. I was down with Marshall and Blacksburg, but looking at the crowd, there were probably about 7,000 there. And you're exactly right.
That's about what a session does.
In fact, it depends on who's playing. You could have 8,000 or 9,000 at those sessions of the basketball tournament.
It's always a lot of fun. It's just one of those things where we try to not lose track of that.
Right.
Now, a little bit of housekeeping here with the program. By the way, our special correspondent from last year, Luke Creasy, I talked to him tonight. He was at the Wayne game as well. It was just a little reunion of people at the Wayne.
He's working at the HD now.
He works for HD Media now?
For the Wayne County News, specifically. But yes, HD Media, which also covers Charleston now, and which is owned by Doug Reynolds, a Wayne grad, who played basketball for the Pioneers.
And they cover Logan, and they cover Williamson, and they cover
the Cole Valley News, and the Logan Banner, and the Williamson Daily News. Yes, and we talked with Dave Morrison earlier, and he's been through a lot of these small town newspapers, and one thing that I think we should never lose track of is that the smaller communities, it's not necessarily that what you're putting in the newspaper is dyed-in-the-wool hard news. Just put stuff in there about them. It's about their friends and family and neighbors, and
it's history.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this is what I'm afraid of, is that when we get way down the road from now, and I'm not blaming anyone for this, by the way. I'm not putting a villain on anybody. We today look back at old newspapers to get historical information. I'm not sure we're going to have that in the future. Granted, quote, everything's online. Well, no, it's not.
No, it's not. You're right. Not in the big database.
No, it isn't.
At least not the context, the details.
And there are reasons for this happening. This is, again, not to cast anyone as evil, and not at all what I'm getting at. But just that's something I worry about, and something that I challenge those currently overworked newspaper writers to make sure that they document their history.
I'll share this real quick. When Speedy Bevins retired down at Logan from radio, he had boxes and boxes and boxes full of newspaper articles. That was his archives. I mean, and that's the way it's been done for years.
I still speak to him sometimes.
Oh, do you?
He is the insurance agent for one of my coworkers.
Oh, okay.
And he calls her every now and then, and I end up having to switch the phone. I was like, Speedy?
Yeah, he's got that distinguished voice.
Yes, you can always tell when Speedy Bevins is calling.
Exactly.
Or, excuse me, Larry.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's official now.
Yes. But, have a good time with that as well. But when we come back, we'll have our poll question. We'll have our final check of the scoreboard. we'll have cause time. And also, we do want to let you know now, we'll let you know then as well. If you want to nominate someone for Athlete of the Week or Standout Athlete of the Week, you can do that on basketballnight.com. You only have to do it once.
That's right, one time.
But we've gotten several already.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you only have to send it
It's
one time.
not a popularity contest.
Nope.
Yeah,
we'll read it. And they stay in the vat.
The stack.
The stack
The
for the
stack.
entire season.
Yes.
So it's not like you didn't get it this week, so you have to renominate. You don't have to do that. We'll take care of all of that when Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia concludes after this on the Fast Break Sports Network.
Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia will return in 2 minutes on the Fast Break Sports Network.
For scores online, all of them in West Virginia, visit basketballnight.com. Special thanks tonight to all of our affiliates. You can listen on great radio stations throughout the Mountain State, including our newest affiliate tonight, We Rock West Virginia Louder, 105 KQV, WKQV Cowan, 105.5 FM, and heard in Braxton County on 106.9 FM. We're also on 103.7 Jack FM, WQWV in Fisher, the Valley's Watchdog, 1600 AM, WKKX Wheeling, 1370 AM, WVLY in Moundsville, Jackson County's home for Southern Gospel, Singing News Radio, 92.5 FM, WTHMLP, Ravenswood, Ripley, Knights Radio, 91.5 FM, WRSG in Middleburn, Talk Radio, WRNR Martinsburg, 740 AM, 106.5 FM, Classic Hits, 106, WHFI Linside, 106.7 FM, 95 The Sports Fox, WBES Charleston, 950 AM, The Voice of the Coalfields, 101.9 FM and 1290 AM, WVOW in Logan, Light Rock 93R, WRRR St. Mary's, 93.9 FM, The Ticket, 102.3 FM, WMTD in Hinton, the greatest oldies of all time, 98.5 FM and 101.5 FM, WQAZLP, Edmond, Beckley, Tune for You Radio, Yap Radio 101.7 FM, WYAPLP in Clay, 104.5 FM, WASP Huntington, 101.1 FM, WVWP LP in Wayne, and 90.7 FM, WFGH Fort Gay, and Marshall University's flagship station, WMUL Huntington.
This is high school basketball's home for the Mountain State. Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia on the Fast Break Sports Network. Now, back to your hosts, Bill Cornwell, Joe Linville, and Ryan Epling.
11:47, wrapping up Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Ryan Epling, Joe Linville here, Bill Cornwell also here as well. But joining us now is Spencer Dupuis of student station WMUL, Marshall University radio voice. And Spencer, you get to debut this year's poll question, the first one of the year.
Yes, and this week's poll question is, should there be a running clock mercy rule in West Virginia high school basketball? You can head over to basketballnight.com to cast your vote.
Thank you very much. And, of course, that comes up. We have one in football. If it gets to 35 points in the fourth quarter, you have a running clock.
I've seen that a few times this year.
You have the – I've seen it more than I care to mention. You have the 10-run rule in baseball. You have a 15-run rule in softball in 3 innings. That can go very fast. You can have a 29-minute game. I've seen those. And but we don't have one that shortens the basketball game. Do we need to or do we not? There's your chance to answer your poll question. And Spencer will have that answer for you, what you say, next week. Polls open at midnight. Time for a check of the scoreboard, and Joe will have you do the boys' scores. I'll actually do the girls' scores. I'll give Bill Cornwell a break this time.
Looking for scores? Look no more. Go to basketballnight.com. It was Grundy, Virginia over Greenbrier East tonight, 57-53. Jefferson Cougars down Broad Fording Academy, 40-37. Stonewall Jackson from Manassas over Spring Mills tonight in the Musselman Classic, 83-68. It was Frankfort over North Garrett, Maryland, 58-50. It was Pendleton County falling to Turner Ashby High School tonight, 67-55. RCB, the Eagles, down Winfield tonight, 66-53. Indian Creek, Ohio, over Weir, 66-60. It was Philip Barber downing Pocahontas County tonight, 93-36. Cabell Midland down South Point, Ohio, 71-50. Belfry, Kentucky, over the Wayne Pioneers, 72-61. St. Clairsville, Ohio, over Brook, 101-44. It was University over Buchanan Upshur, 101-52. Buffalo, the Bisons, over Wahama, 74-55. It was Charleston Catholic downing Liberty Raleigh, 55-46. Doddridge County over Clay County, 74-68. Morgantown over Elkins, 87-49. Tug Valley in a big win, 1 point over Greater Beckley Christian, 56-55. Greenbrier West down Independence, 66-60. It was Lincoln County over Van, 76-37. Mount View down to Man Hillbillies, 68-59. Oak Hill over Pikeview, 96-57. Warren Local, Ohio over Parkersburg Big Reds, 50-44. It was Ritchie County falling to Ravenswood, 41-38. Hurricane over Ripley, 63-36. It was Riverside falling to St. Albans, 55-46. Summers County loses tonight to a very talented Shady Springs team, 69-59. The Polka Dots over Valley Fayette, 65-41. Wetzel, or Valley Wetzel over Payton City, 81-55. Webster County over Calhoun County, 92-34. Fairmont Senior over Wyoming East, 77-58. James Monroe down to Allegheny, Virginia, 58-53. Hedgesville, the Eagles over Silver Oak Academy, Maryland, 87-46. Stafford, Virginia over Musselman, 53-40. Grafton fell to Trinity Christian tonight, 68-44. Charleston Catholic winners tonight over Liberty Raleigh, 55-46. Ryan?
One more boys score that we just got in. Logan defeated Sissonville tonight, 101-63, the final in that one. So let's look at the girls' scores tonight from across West Virginia, a couple of out-of-state games as well. First, though, it was Wheeling Central Catholic defeating Polka 59-26. That's in the Williamstown tournament. Williamstown also won its game tonight, so you'll have Williamstown and Wheeling Central play tomorrow. At Boyd County, Kentucky in Cannonsburg, just across the Big Sandy River on I-64, it was Boyd County defeating Wyoming East 59-55. The Lions get 37 points from Marshall commit Savannah Wheeler in the win. Bluefield defeats Tazewell, Virginia 56-49. It was Magnolia over Payton City 59-41. Cameron defeats Tug Valley 67-60. The Dragons will take on Tulsa tomorrow in the Barbara J. Marone Key Players Shootout Championship game. The Lady Rebels pick up an overtime win over Grace Christian out of Huntington tonight. That final score was 51-45. Also tonight in girls high school basketball, it was Richwood defeating Fayetteville 63-60. James Monroe beats Blacksburg, Virginia 54-32. It was Montcalm over Oak Hill by a final of 42-27. Moorfield wins the Battle of Hardy County tonight 66-13 over East Hardy. Sissonville wins over Valley Fayette 60-32. Clay Battelle defeats Robert C. Byrd 44-35. Gilmer County beats East Fairmont tonight 56-50. Spring Mills a winner over Hampshire 71-58. Summers County defeats Midland Trail 63-41. The Wayne Pioneers go to 3-0 as the Lady Pioneers defeat Nicholas County 68-47. It was Parkersburg over Ripley 71-46. Shaylee Kirby scores the 1,000th point of her Big Red career. It was Preston defeating Washington 50-37. Tyler Consolidated beats Ritchie County 47-34. Riverview picks up a 67-20 win over Mount View. It was Trinity Christian 65, South Harrison 13, and the Oak Glen Golden Bears get their first win of the season, now 1-2, after beating Toronto, Ohio in a thriller tonight, 62-60. That is your basketballnight.com scoreboard. Before we go to cause time, any of those scores stick out to you, Joe?
There was a couple over 100 points scored tonight. That's big offensive games for high school basketball.
Bill, anything stick out to you tonight?
Just some exciting games tonight, but we also had a couple of games, and in fact, we'll fit in with our poll question because you had a couple of games there where you had teams in the final scored in the teens, and that would really fit into, do we have a running clock? Do we have some kind of a early into a game when it's really uncompetitive?
And before we go to college style, I want to say thank you to our new affiliates, 104.1 WVXS in Romney, as well as WZTS TV 16 in Fayette County. And a big thank you to new affiliate with Al Sergi at Summit Media, 105 KQV in Nicholas and Braxton County, West Virginia, as the Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia family continues to grow. You know, someone who's been a member of the family since this show began.
Dun, dun, dun.
From the Martinsburg Journal. Yes, local journalism matters. Rick Kozlowski joins us here on Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Koz, it's Koz time.
I can see him kick back in the recliner listening to the
He
music.
just doesn't want to interrupt it. That's all it is. Rick, welcome to the program.
Great tune.
Yeah.
You was chilling out. wasn't you?
You're absolutely chilling out. Hey, Rick, I know you've been a busy guy, kind of following some of your work with football. Is it actually time to relax now after following Musselman and Martinsburg and all those teams up there in the Panhandle?
Well, it's interesting because I've been doing football stuff this week still, and trying to mix in some basketball previews. And I had 3 coaches telling me about how far behind they were because of football. And 2 of them, Musselman and Hedgesville, weren't used to having their players, some of their players, come late to practice. Now, it's become kind of, I guess, a routine thing for Martinsburg, but in the case of Hedgesville, Kelly Church, their coach, told me that, we're about a week behind, and it's just so difficult for us to try to learn anything. Of course, they go out tonight and score 84 points. They looked okay after a sluggish first quarter. I don't know. I guess it's a convenient excuse, and I'm not saying that these guys are trying to make excuses for their teams, because it's like, we go from one sport to the other. We barely can breathe.
Hey.
Here it is. Championship day is on Saturday or Friday in the case of the double A's, and you turn around, and here on Tuesday you got a basketball game.
Yep, and it's a quick
We
turnaround.
just keep pushing everything together.
Yeah, but one thing, Rick, and I think you'll agree with me on this because you get to cover it, kids are a lot more resilient than adults, and adults don't seem to really understand that sometimes. We forget that.
Well, I think if you look back at, when you were a kid, how much could you do? How many sports might you play in one day?
I
with
went
your
from
buddies?
I went from basketball practice to baseball practice, same day, several
And
times.
probably sneaked in a swim in there as well.
I swim like a rock,
And-
so. But you go hang out at the
you're
pool.
right, though.
Yeah.
Kids can do lots of things, and we as adults, we kind of look at things and say, man, I don't know if I can get to that today or not.
Well,
And then you don't.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't get to it tomorrow or the next day either.
That's very true. Rick, we have about 30 seconds left, and looking forward to another basketball season, and I think we should have a lot of fun with a lot of the teams. Looks to me like we've got an open season for at least for AAA boys.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly when you look at a couple of teams, there's a lot of people back. I know Martinsburg has quite a few team members back. I don't know if they're going to, race to get the second or first
this season or not, but they have quite a few. But I think around here, Martinsburg is the team to beat, and then the second bid is wide open.
Rick, always a pleasure.
Anybody.
Always a pleasure. We'll get more into this next week.
We'll give you more time. We'll
figure it out. Yeah, that's on our side. Rick Kozlowski, the Martinsburg Journal. Always a pleasure. It's time to step aside and call it a day. Week 1 in the books. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with Basketball Friday Night.
Thank you for listening to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. Tune in next Friday for the latest high school basketball action from across the Mountain State. Visit basketballnight.com for our show archives, the poll question of the week, and the basketballnight.com scoreboard. Until next time, have a great weekend, and thank you for listening to Basketball Friday Night in West Virginia. The preceding broadcast was a presentation of the Fast Break Sports Network. Copyright 2018. All rights reserved.